bitch. Oh, excuse you? Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry Annie. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey y'all, welcome and happy Monday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, and hot topics. So if that's a show that you will be interested in, definitely stick around because we got a lot of tea to spill today. So some of the topics we're going to be getting into, of course, we're going to talk about the Oscars, which happened last night. We're going to talk about some of the celebrities that were omitted from the in memoriam. Also, there were some people that was pissed because the feed for Hulu that was broadcasting the Oscars live cut out during the segment of, what was it, Best Picture and Best Actress. So people didn't get to see Mikey Madison get her award and Honora win Best Picture. So we're going to get into that. Plus, I got an update on Gene Hackman and his wife's bodies. If they found carbon monoxide inside of them during the whole situation. We got to talk about Diddy hit with two new accusations, one from Kirk Burrowes, because he went and filed a suit against his mother. Now he filed a suit against the diddler. Also, Sara Rivers from the band actually filed a suit against him as well, so we're going to get into that. Plus, we got to talk about Drake and the settlement that he did with iHeartMedia, and how he also apparently lied about what had went down over there in Australia with the whole situation of him leaving because he said he had a little situation that went down. It's a bunch of BS, so we're going to get into that. Plus, we got to talk about Wendy Williams still opening up about life in that prison that she's, that assisted living facility. And we got to talk about Tyra Banks because she's talking. She finally broke her silence post tweets, because back in the day she did tweets. Now she went and spoke out of her mouth over the whole America's Next Top Model controversy. So we're going to get into that. Plus, Porsha Williams spilling tea on her ex, Simon Guobadia, talking about that he attempted to illegally into the U.S., and that's what caused his whole ICE detention. Then we got to talk about some celebrity deaths. So we're going to talk about Angie Stone, who, I was a huge fan of. So we got to talk about that. And we got to talk about another death, which is the gay adult film industry is, unfortunately mourning the death of Tim Kruger. So we got to talk about that and all the people in the industry who sent out their condolences and how I found out before it got out. Plus, we got to, of course, recap RuPaul's Drag Race Season 17, as we do every Monday on this good old show. So if you can, before we get to said topics, if you could do me a solid and hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification bell so that way when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. It helps with the algorithm and all other stuff. I don't have any sponsors for this show. This is the little engine that could. So if you want to send me a little super chat, super sticker, definitely helps out with the show. Also, the more you subscribe and you like, it helps with the algorithm, and it also helps me get a little more coin from YouTube ads that are accumulated with the show. Also, what I'll be doing, if you haven't been paying attention or you might be new, that if you want to sit through the full live stream, I definitely will be putting markers into the show, so that way if you want to go through certain topics and you want to get to certain topics, you can actually skip to those points, because I do put little marks throughout the show, timestamps as you will. Also, I just want to let y'all know I am a little bit under the weather today. I don't know where this energy is coming from, but the light up above is helping me get through this. So I'm gonna need y'all strength and y'all energy to help me get through this show. Yesterday I was at MSG working a Rangers game, so of course it was like freezing outside, and it was freezing in the bowl because the ice and everything. So I'm sitting there and I'm feeling the throat getting sore. I'm starting to get chill. I said, oh, hell no. So I had to go get Theraflu. I went and spoke to my sister. My sister got a big ass mouth. So then my mother calls me this morning on my phone, and she's like, so how are you? I heard you was, I said, damn. My sister, I said, she got a big old mouth. So my mother, of course, is calling me to check in on me because, I tell my sister any little thing and she run with it. I'm like, damn, I need to start keeping things to myself. So, yeah, so there's that. So yeah, I'm a little under the weather today, but I'm gonna power through. I think tonight before I go to sleep, what is it that you're supposed to drink that they always say is supposed to have? Is it rum or is it whiskey? Or does it not matter? As long as it's brown juice, like it definitely helps. So I'll probably just be dealing with a lot of that. Like I'll probably just take a shot of, I don't know, is it whiskey? Yeah, let me know in the comments. Is it whiskey or is it rum that you're supposed to drink? So or maybe or does it not matter? So I'm gonna probably do one of those shots. One other good stuff. But let me check and see who's in the chat. Carla's here. How you doing? How you doing? When we talk about Drake, we need to call him Flake and Anita Max refund tour. Happy Monday. I was thinking about you, hoping you would stream and spill the messy tea. Well, you know, I was going to be here. I need the Jade album. And yes, Charlie came to get hella drunk, and she did. And shout out to her. Horrible for the people who were watching. Oh, yeah. Well, I actually watched the Oscars on Hulu, but I'm going to get to when I watched it and how I was spared of what everybody had to deal with when we get to the Oscars chat, which is actually the first topic. Rest to Tim Kruger. And or RIP. Yes, America's Next Top Model. She actually talked about America's Next Top Model when she was doing a panel. I think it was like with Coyote Ugly. She reunited with the cast and all the stuff, and she brought and it came up in a conversation. We'll get to that topic. You said get ready for a 2-year government shutdown. Child, I don't even want to deal with any more of this stress from this man. I'm going to Kylie Minogue and Billie Eilish in April. Yes, it's funny because when I was at work yesterday, they was advertising Kylie on the jumbotron, everything, and these two white girls come in the room singing. Oh my God, what is the name? Now I'm drawing a blank. What is the name of the song? Baby, when I heard you from that song. I was like, why can't I think of the name of that damn song? So they coming in the room singing. I said, let me find out y'all some Kylie fans. Two white girls coming in singing Kylie. So they was advertising her. Then they advertised Katy Perry. I'm like, ew. But she coming to the garden, so we gotta advertise everybody. So yeah, and it's 2 nights. So I got to see how that all works out because apparently Kylie's 2 shows fall on when the Mets start their new season, and I work there in Citi Field. So that's going to be relatively interesting to see how that whole thing works out. So love at first sight. I don't know why I just had like a brain fart. I told you I'm under the weather today, so I can't remember nothing. So I'm still one of the lost member of the sequence, Angie Stone. Yes, love at first sight. Latrice for All Stars 11. Child, can we get season 10 first? Before we start talking about All Stars 11? Which the only one I think we know of that's going to be on the season, allegedly, is Lydia Boho Collins, who sent her girl home, or her man home in the last episode of Drag Race. Well, we're going to get to that. And all that good stuff. But anyway, let's get into our first topic. And let's talk about the Oscars. So the Oscars aired last night. I did not get to see it last night because I told you I was working a Rangers game at the Garden. Shout out to the Rangers. They won last night. They beat North Carolina. So I was there dealing with that and trying to fight this damn flu that there's something that's this little bug because everybody talking about there's a nasty bug going around. And I know a lot of people getting sick and I'm trying to avoid it like the plague. But when you're around people, you can't help it. When you dealing with being on the train and then you dealing with coming into work and then people being sick and they just don't take accountability. Like if you sick, stay home. You bringing your germs and other stuff and dealing with and interacting with people, and you know you're going to come down with something. But I took the precautions, came home, took my Theraflu, knocked me out after I was watching a couple of episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But nevertheless, after that, it was just like, it knocked me out this morning. I didn't even want to get up because I was like, I'm just feeling groggy, whatever. But I fought through it and I'm here. So I actually happened to watch the Oscars today. So literally 10 minutes before I went live with this show, I had just finished watching the Oscars. So, the people, and I feel bad for them because I had a lot of people on my feed saying this. So there were people that were affected watching the Oscars last night because they were live streaming it on Hulu and Disney Plus. Apparently, the show cut out literally as they were announcing the nominees for Best Actress and Best Picture. So nobody got to see Nora win the award for Best Picture, and then you didn't get to see Mikey Madison win the Oscar for Best Actress, which some people are saying that Demi Moore was snubbed for not winning the award after they hyped her up. But look, Then they do the same thing to Angela Bassett. Y'all hyped up Angela Bassett to win the award for Queen Ramonda, and who ended up getting it? Jamie Lee Curtis. So we'll see how all that works out down the road. But you know what? I'm not mad at Mikey Madison winning because Mikey did a phenomenal job in the role. And the fact that they shot it all in New York, she engulfed herself in that whole, Russian culture, and even down to the accent of how a lot of them sound down in oh my god, why did I forget the name of like where the Brighton Beach? I almost said Ozone Park, child. Now that's another part of Queens. Brighton Beach, they definitely sound like, because I remember my cousin was dating a girl, lesbian, who lived down, and I stayed down with them in Brighton Beach. So I know exactly how it is down there when back in, a couple of years back when they was dating. And she used to drive girls around. So she was a driver for some of the girls. The girls like the Honora types, the sex workers and things of that nature. That was something I was going to keep secret, but that was something I was secret back in the day. But that was what she was. She was a driver for some of these girls, the ones that be working, the prostitutes and the we call them sex workers. So shout out to them. That I think around the time what made me have a lot more respect for sex workers. Not only that, but growing up in New York City, when you hanging out at the piers and all the other stuff, it's like you encounter a lot of sex workers. So I had a lot of sex worker friends. So that's why I was actually loving the fact that this movie celebrated sex work. Hollywood was celebrating them. And I hope that this is not performative, that this is like, y'all are actually about it and really going to show the respect, because even at one point, there is a story that I saw for Honora where they were saying that they hope that Hollywood actually does show a little love, and more respect for sex workers after all the success, because Honora won 4 out of the 5 Oscars that they were nominated for. But we'll get into that story in a minute. Let's just get to, everybody else. So aside from Honora winning big at the 2025 Oscars, and Mikey Madison getting the Best Actress nomination, Sean Baker won a record-breaking 4 awards for his film. So he won for Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Film Editing. And then he poked a joke at himself about, that the editing helped save this movie because the director's horrible, even though he is the director. So it was a joke. And I actually found that funny. So now in other acting categories, Adrian Brody won for Best Actor for The Brutalist. I know a lot of people was expecting Timothée Chalamet. I know I'm intentionally fucking up his name, but Timothée Chalamet, and shout out to Adam Sandler, Chalamet, when he went up to him and he did that, I did cackle at that part, but I was looking at him like, bro, what are you wearing? First of all, he dresses like that all the time. I told you, I see him a lot of times when he's at my job. He's always at the Knicks game, him and Chris Rock, who sidebar, Chris Rock said that he would not rule out coming back to host the Oscars in the future. And, even though, what had happened with him and Will Smith and that whole situation. So I'm like, I'm here for it. If you want to come in and host down the road, but make sure you bring the funny. Don't lose your edge. Like, come in and find that, toe that line or whatever the case is, or do what you do. Like back in the day when he used to go in hard on the people over at the VMAs. Remember when he used to host those back in the day? Just bring that energy to the Oscars, because the Oscars definitely need it. Now, speaking of hosts, before I get to everybody else who won, Conan O'Brien, even though this was his first time, I thought he did a phenomenal job as the host. I loved his self-deprecating humor and all the other stuff, the little song and dance number that he did, and then threw the little shade at Drake, and then also threw a little shade at Carla Sofia Gascon while she was in the room. And I could tell at one point she had to have one of the jokes translated because she leans over and like she didn't understand. And I could totally understand. She's Spaniard. So English is not her first language. And you're not going to get a lot of the American humor. So somebody had to explain that. Sidebar, looking at Zoe Saldana, what was that dress she had on? She literally looked like a brown jellyfish. I was like, that was the ugliest dress. But then again, I think Zoe Saldana has always kind of been missed with her fashion choices. But anyway, so yeah, so Adrian Brody won for The Brutalist. Congrats to him. He did a phenomenal job. It's no shade to Timothée Chalamet. Chalamet has a long road ahead of him in Hollywood. Like, to me, I feel like he is Gen Z's equivalent to Daniel Day-Lewis. Like, his career is going to last the test of time. So him not winning the Oscar, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. He's a phenomenal. We already know the kid's a good actor. He's going to be around for a long time. So he'll win for something else better down the road. We'll see. So he doesn't have anything to worry about. So Adrian Brody winning for one of the longest movies in, to date in regards of what was nominated. And not only that, you know, shout out to Conan for making the joke about that movie being so damn long and him wanting it to end or all the other stuff, whatever the joke was, however it went. But can we talk about his damn speech? Why did the speech feel about as long as The Brutalist? I was like, okay, can you please wrap this up? And because it was just going on and on and on, he was dragging it. You know, I appreciate him getting up there and doing his thing or whatever, but it was just like, oh my God, wrap this up already. And you know what? And then some of y'all on social media getting mad at Halle Berry for kissing him on the red carpet. Because I was sitting there saying, before I even knew about that, I was like, you know what? This would be the perfect time to have Halle Berry come out, introduce him, and then reenact the whole kissing situation. But they did that on the red carpet. So they already beat me to it. Somebody in the industry, greater minds think alike. Because I was like, that would have been a great thing. Because, you know, remember when she won the Oscar and he introduced her and he kissed her on the mouth on stage and we were living. I think she was with Eric Benet at the time, but then quiet as it's kept. Eric Benet shouldn't have been no ways man because he was out there laying low and spreading it wide with every piece of pussy he could get his hands on. So I know he wasn't upset that she was out here kissing another man. So besides that, I like the fact that they did that. But I saw some person, one of my friends sent me in a group chat that there was somebody that went on social media and made a whole video about it, like, oh, that's disrespectful. But I said, well, first of all, if you understand history, and this is why I always tell people, just because you got a phone, just because you want to get up in here and jump in this pundit space, don't necessarily mean you have the skills or the gift to do it. Because if you don't, this is why everybody should not even be with a phone in front of them, a video, whatever, and making shit. Because if you don't understand the history of why Halle did what she did with Adrian, then shut up. Don't come up in here and start bringing up this jealousy. Oh, you shouldn't be up here kissing because if that was back, I'm like, fuck off with all of that. So that irritated me when they sent me that. And that's why I sent a comment to one of my friends. I said, this is why everybody who got a phone should not put that shit on, hit record, and start running off with the mouth because then you end up with egg on your face and you end up looking stupid. At least if you're going to get on and start talking about stuff, do your homework and your research. Google is your friend. The videos is not that far behind. You can look it up and see that why she did what she did instead of have people having to tell you in the damn comments and read you for you allowing your male jealousy to get into something where you ain't even gonna ever have a rash chance of getting up in Hallie's box. So what you mad for? Why you mad though? Why you mad though? Why you mad though? Why you mad though? In the words of Morgan McMichaels. So yeah, so then it was that. You know, the Brutus one. I loved Kieran Culkin's speech. I'm like, damn, he's so little. And you know, he's like 42. Still looks, well, you know, my generation, we all look younger than our actual age, quiet as it's kept. But he was like 42, no gray up in the beard or nothing. How come we're around the same age and I got grays in my beard and you don't? The shade of it all. But anyway, so yeah. So he got up there, gave his little speech. I loved his speech though, because it was a whole thing where he basically put his wife on blast and was like, oh yeah, you said if I win an Oscar, you're gonna give me a couple of babies. So I was like, okay, well now that he got the Oscar, y'all better get the fucking, because Miss Mama's them ovaries gonna be busy for the next couple of years. I don't know how many kids Kieran has at the moment, or if he has any at all. But go ahead. And you know what? Some people was mad because he didn't thank his brother Macaulay. And I was sitting there like, I mean, yeah, because Macaulay Culkin, yeah, he did have the bigger career. And remember, Kieran was in Home Alone as well. But is it a requirement that he had to thank his brother because he thanked his mother? And I think he thanked his stepfather or something. I don't know if he thanked his father. Because Kit Culkin, we all know he was an asshole. Nobody liked him. And especially the way he treated Macaulay back in the days when Macaulay's career was, you know, huge in the 90s. So shout out to Kieran Culkin for his win. And like I said, I loved his speech. Now, Zoe Saldana getting up there winning Best Supporting Actress for her performance as in Amelia Perez. That was cute or whatever. I did see some people, here we go. See, this is why I can't with some of you black folks. Yeah, I'm saying it like that because I'm throwing shade. Even though I am black. But I'm saying, no. Well, I should say some of you hoteps and homoteps. Y'all be getting on my root canal nerve with this shit. So what was irritating me about this whole situation, people started bringing up the fact that, oh, the Nina Simone thing, which she has addressed and apologized for. Then people were getting mad and bringing up the fact of, oh, well, Afro-Latina and the fact that she don't only acknowledges that she's black when it's convenient, and started bringing in colorism type stuff. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Why is it that whenever we have these type of conversations, y'all always want to bring in some shit to try to discredit? It's like it be our own that always be the ones that will try to come in and be Samuel L. Jackson and Django Unchained when it comes to some shit and think that y'all revolutionary by doing it. Oh, you really thinking you moving the needle or whatever? I said, first of all, I've never heard Zoe Saldana say anything anti-black, colorist, or whatever the case was. I do remember at the time when she did Nina Simone, she did say something or another that at the time she felt in her mind said that she was the only one that can get this movie done. Probably because of the way the state of what Hollywood was. She was a big name at that time. So she wasn't thinking about all the political repercussions that comes with that, especially when it's like, oh, well, you have to make yourself extra dark, you got to put on a prosthetic nose. It's like, yeah, we weren't thinking about that, but looking back on it, it's like, yeah, that's pretty cringe, but you're not thinking about that at the time. And she has apologized for it, and she's never gone around saying anything anti-black or whatever. She has acknowledged that, yeah, she is I believe she said she's Dominican and Haitian, so she's admitted, been very open and transparent about that she is Afro-Latina. And I know plenty of people who acknowledge that. One of my friends, Yuri, is very much God with Black Power. Like, she is very much, she's Cuban, dark skin, and she salivates and I was trying to think of a big word, but I told her I'm under the weather today. So she was just trying to, she celebrates, I'll just say that. She celebrates her blackness. Not everybody falls in that category of trying to just like act like they're not that they just don't embrace their blackness. Don't put other people's shit on this person when you've never heard them for a fact say those things. Save that for the people that actually just going around here saying anti-black things when they are of, that descent. And we know that Dominicans are black. We know, hello, y'all neighbors with Haiti, South Passe, my boule, okay? So, my goddaughter's Haitian. That's what I would say. So, well, she's half Haitian. So, yeah. So, I had no problem with her winning, but I did have a problem with this. Now, why is it that the people that was winning for this movie, right? Emilia Perez, why was there no acknowledgement of the trans aspect of the movie? The movie was about the lead being a trans character. Yes, so Carla did not win, but where was the acknowledgement of transness? Y'all were acknowledging more about the immigration stuff. Why y'all think the immigration is greater than being trans? Because y'all all in the same boat, especially with this current administration, going after immigrants and going after the trans. So that should have been brought up in the conversation too. Zoe should have brought it up, and them damn horrible ass songwriters that won for best song. I don't know how the hell that won over Diane Warren, who y'all keep overlooking. This is about her 16th time she been snubbed for best song. But y'all gave it to Emilia Perez. Them songs were atrocious. The only song I like from there that was like memorable and hummable was the penis and vagina. That stupid song. Other than that, them songs was horrible. Cause I'm intentionally fucking this up. When them songs, all that sound like da, 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 like that's what that sound like the whole movie. That movie was terrible. However, I do like the fact that they were acknowledging Carla Sofia Gascon and what that whole story was about, and I'm not mad that Zoe won. Other than that, that movie was trash. But this is what the Oscars wanted to highlight, so y'all do you, niece. Now, in regards to the other stuff, Flo won the award for Best Animated Feature, marking the first ever win for Latvia. No Other Land was named Best Documentary Feature, which was about, I think it was co-directed by somebody from Israel and Palestine. And then I saw some people with their Zionist bullshit on social media. First of all, y'all could just fall in the nearest pit and drown with y'all ignorant Zionist bullshit. So outside of that, then we had I'm Still Here. I cannot say that without thinking about Tisha Campbell. Like, what? See, that's why y'all had to name y'all movie I'm Still Here, because ever since then, it's like all I think about is Tisha Campbell. Y'all know that song? And anyway, so they said that was named Best International Feature Film, marking Brazil's first Oscar win. Now, Peter Strohan, I think that's how you say his name, won the award for Best Adapted Screenplay for Conclave, which is a great movie, by the way. If y'all have not seen Conclave, definitely check that movie out. No children were harmed in the making of Conclave, probably because there was no kids in it. It was about probably trying to find the Pope. Like they had to vote on the Pope. Y'all got the joke. Anyway, let me move on. Now, Paul Tazewell became the first Black man to win the Oscar for Best Costume Design, and he won for Wicked. Which shout out to him because I did love the little Bowen gang joke that when he got up there in the whole full regalia and the wig, that was hilarious, by the way. And everybody else was in on the whole thing. And I loved the whole little joke that they were doing with John Lithgow throughout the night. Then they also, the musical movie won for Best Production Design. Now, other films that won multiple awards were The Brutalist, which earned Best Cinematography, Best Original Score, in addition to Best Actor. Doom Part 2 winning Best Sound and Best Visual Effects. And I'm so mad that y'all keep overlooking my boy, Denis Villeneuve, who was in the audience, by the way. But y'all gonna stop playing in that man's face. Because that movie was good. I love Doom 2. I like the first Doom too. But I mean, I've liked the first Doom, TOO, not number 2. But I like Doom 2 too. If y'all get, okay, let me just move on. Because it is like I'm just consistently putting myself down this rabbit hole. Now, they also said that Amelia Perez, which also landed the Best Original Song, didn't I tell you, for that El Mal, that song is terrible, but whatever. Best Makeup and Hairstyling went to The Substance. Of course, Substance was gonna, excuse me, was gonna win in the hairstyling and makeup and all that. Like, that's what y'all typically want to give with that. And I also heard some people say that because Demi lost to Mikey Madison, that this is actually the whole plot of The Substance. The fact of the matter is, y'all hyped up Demi like, she's a comeback kid and she's gonna win this award, and she was cleaning up everywhere else. But look, I will say this: the odds were stacked against a lot of people. And this was anybody could, anything could happen type situation. It was unpredictable because the Best Actress, Best Actor categories, Best Supporting and Best Supporting Actress and Actor categories, they were stacked. It was really hard to try to choose. So I wasn't, like I said before, I wasn't mad that that Mikey won. But here's the thing that I hope for Demi is that how will her career fare post all of these wins and accolades of The Substance? I want to see how Hollywood going to treat her now. The Substance and all of this stuff, the hype has died down a little bit. What's going to happen with Demi's career post The Substance? So I want to know if, when her agents, whatever, how many scripts is being sent in her direction, and what other major roles are going to be somebody's out there currently writing for Demi Moore to be doing at her age, because she's a woman in her 60s that looks good, by the way. Y'all going to continue to use her, right? This is not just some fluke. So that's what I'm hoping. So she may not have won the Oscar, but I think people need to look at the bigger picture. It's like, fuck the Oscar, the fact that she didn't win it. Not fucking in a bad way, but let's move beyond that. It's like, how will her career fare post Oscar loss? Because I do want to see more of her. Now, the show opened, with a performance of Wicked's Oscar-nominated stars. Now, first of all, the Ariana Grande Cynthia Erivo opening, loved it. Vocals sounded were or in the words of Barbara Streisand, like butter. So exquisite, lived for it. But you already know them girls going to tear down with the vocals. Now, the ones who didn't tear the vocals down, fuck was that shit with Doja Cat, Lisa for Blackpink, and I don't want to throw Ray up in there because Ray always delivers. Ray is my girl. I live for her. Lisa for Blackpink, lip syncing for her life like she about to audition to be on the next season of Drag Race. Don't even get me started on that mess that Doja Cat thought she was doing. She thought she was eating. Yeah, bitch, you was doing more than eating. You was... Dame Shirley Bassey, I'm sure, was doing somersaults in her damn grave. She was probably doing and for this, I'm intentionally calling it this. She probably did a death drop in her damn grave, even though I know it's a dip. But she did a death. She probably did like a dozen death. Like, what is this bitch doing in my song? Diamonds Are Forever. Bitch, I'm gonna start liking rubies now. I don't want no damn diamond. Fuck a diamond. This woman done messed up my song. So whoever chose her, of all people, Doja Colonizer Cat, to sit up in here and butcher that song, you need not produce any more segments at the Oscars. You need to be unemployed. You need to be on the unemployment line with no more gigs in this industry, because for you to choose her, that was blasphemous. I don't know if this was y'all attempt of trying to grab the MTV Even though the MTV generation is my generation, we not up in here. Why, it's not Gen Z ain't the MTV generation. Gen Z is the TikTok generation. That's what they be going for, the TikTok and the YouTube and all that other stuff. I don't know if you were trying to reach a younger demographic by bringing them up in here, but it didn't work. But what did work for me was Queen Latifah up in there. He's on down the road. Come on and he's on down the road. When she got up there and was singing that song, yes, you better work, Queen. And shout out to her and her wife, Ebony. She's been parading her around a lot lately. So shout out to Queen finally living in her truth. She like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm going to live my true self as Cleo from Set It Off, but just a little more feminized. So, she was up in there living her best life with her woman, because we've been seeing them on the red carpets and stuff lately. And you want to know who also looked good too? Whoopi Goldberg. Whoever made her dress, probably Christian Siriano. I need to look it up. Whoopi Goldberg's gown, I absolutely love. I wish I had a picture that I could show you, but I'm sure if y'all go on social media or whatever, you can look it up. I lived for her outfit. I thought she looked sickening. I thought it fit her perfectly. It was like, yes, mama, you better work. And you know what? Manjaro done right, because she used that supplement. She admitted to it. She looked good. Oprah Winfrey, I believe, used Ozempic. So the Ozempic girls was in the building. Definitely looking good. I mean, Oprah was giving bulldagger tease in that suit, but it was like, okay, it was cute or whatever. And I did like the little Quincy Jones situation. Now, here's the thing that we got to get into, because I know this is going to be a long one, because it was the Oscars. You know what annoyed me? That in memoriam segment. That pissed me off. So, yeah. So we had the in memoriam segment, and Morgan Freeman got his behind up there. And this is no shade to Morgan Freeman. But Morgan Freeman got up there and paid tribute to his friend, Gene Hackman, right? So how y'all do a whole segment on Gene Hackman and brought everybody else up in there, but you neglected to mention Michelle Trachtenberg, Shannon Doherty, and Tony Todd, among others? That didn't make no sense to me. And I don't want to hear no excuse, oh, we didn't have time, but you had time to do a whole thing on putting a speech in a teleprompter for Gene Hackman, right? But you didn't have time to do one for Michelle Trachtenberg and all these other people? Like, that didn't make no sense. Because I guess he's a prominent fiction. But see, this is the pompous part of Hollywood, I think, the elitist pompousness of Hollywood that a lot of people don't like. Because I did notice this also before I finish and get to the in memoriam. When Adrian Brody got up there to do his little 12-minute speech, about as long as a damn Super Bowl halftime performance, and all the other big majors got up there and gave their long speeches, y'all did not cut them off, although you did try to cut off Adrian and he shut y'all down and they stopped the music. But when it got to be the lesser people, like the people who do hair, makeup, all that stuff, when they stuff went over a little longer, y'all didn't hesitate to play the music. So it's like Hollywood is very high school in that way, and I don't like that. When it comes to the littler people, you're going to try to play in their face. But when you got the A-listers in the room, then all of a sudden, y'all be blowing all that smoke up their ass. So that kind of irritated me. So the people they did give homage to in the in memoriam, they did David Lynch, Maggie Smith, James Earl Jones, Donald Sutherland. But they overlooked Michelle Trachtenberg, like I said, as well as Tony Todd, Chance Perdomo, Alan Dillon, Annie Hall star Tony Roberts, Linda Lavin, James Darren, Mitzi Gaynor, Martin Mull, and Romeo and Juliet star Olivia Hussey. Well, I more or less know her from Black Christmas, because I love that movie. And they also didn't even acknowledge Moreland Spurlock, which is disrespectful. Y'all was eating up his documentaries back in the day, but you didn't want to acknowledge him now. But then, like I said, y'all had the energy and the wherewithal to give Gene Hackman a thing. But I guess because Gene Hackman spent half his career in Hollywood, so of course it was going to make room for him. And then, they gave Quincy Jones something. But also the people who were also acknowledged, I should bring this up: Jenna Rollins, Terry Garr, Shelley Duvall, Bob Newhart, John Amos, Roger Corman, and Robert Towne. So that's why I said I feel like they were just more or less giving it up for the big names rather than, all that other stuff. So, I mean, rather than those, I guess, maybe they weren't big names in the Hollywood space. They weren't like these big A-list movie stars, but they were famous in their own right to certain people in the community or in certain genres that they were working in. Like Tony Todd was like loved within the horror movie space. when you look at Shannon Doherty, she was a big TV girl. Like she did 90210, she did Little House on the Prairie, she did, so in that world, maybe I guess if it was the Emmys, maybe the Emmys did do that. I don't remember. I didn't watch the Emmys, but I mean, I just knew the highlights. So I don't remember if they actually paid homage to her or whatever. But and then Michelle Trachtenberg, she did TV and film. So I don't understand like why are we leveling. Okay, so A-list people only, or people who we feel were more prominent in the industry versus people who weren't. Like, I don't know what they were thinking, but it just feels very elitist to me that they didn't acknowledge them. But now, last but certainly not least, I do want to get into this story with in regards of Honora, and then we can wrap this up. So yeah, so I don't know if y'all know, but the movie cost $6 million to make. Shout out to the independent film community, where you really get to push and come up with creative stuff. The amount of, the inspiration, all the sex workers that help contribute a lot to this film. Shout out to the sex worker community as per usual. And then like the sex worker in Hollywood do go hand in hand because you know how many prostitutes y'all be hiring, male and female, and probably a lot of them be working in the industry as well. But that's neither here nor there. I just had to put that up in there. So the film basically is about a sex worker who meets an impress, and then goes and marries the son of an oligarch, and then his family comes to New York and attempt to annul the marriage. And so that's basically what that movie is about. But in addition to all the awards, and I'm thanking the sex worker community, Mikey Madison said to the BBC that the film star Madison was spot on in saying that sex workers deserve respect and don't often get it. She said, "My hope is that if this film wins an Oscar," and this is, of course, before she actually won the Oscar, "it marks the beginning of a shift in Hollywood where sex workers are respected as workers in their own fields, but also as entertainers." Because, yeah, they work in strip clubs, they do, online stuff like OF and JFF and Chatterbait and all that other stuff. Excuse me. But then also, and then they escort. There's different levels to sex work, and sex work is work, regardless of what people say. Because a lot of people get off on it, trust and believe. And so I do hope that, as she said, that in so many ways, working in the industry, that these women do get the respect that they deserve, because they do. And I understand, like, there's that old Catholic guilt and all that other stuff where some people don't want to give, they get off on it. And then once they bust they load, then all of a sudden you every kind of whore and charlatan and trash box and all that other stuff under the sun. But you were just getting off on my video like 2 seconds ago. So I don't get it. But then they also said fellow Honora actress come exotic dancer Edie Turkett, who was cast as a background dancer in the movie, added that while Honora begins to explore more morality around buying intimacy and sex, the characters never exist outside their profession. Saying it's better than any film I've seen about it, but ultimately it's limited as it's not told by a sex worker. I can't wait until we're telling our own stories, and hopefully this opens the door to that. Which, if you think about that, that's the same thing that trans people say, or anybody who's in a marginalized community. It's like, what, it'd be great if, you got some actor who comes in and they absorb our stuff and then they win the award. And this is very much like what Hollywood does every year. Oh, well, you did such a great job as that part that was a real stretch. So let's give you an award. It's kind of like when you get cisgender people playing trans. Oh, you're so revolutionary. Or you get a straight person that plays a gay person dying of AIDS. It's the same thing. Oh, you so brave for what you did. Let's give him an Oscar. And it's like, well, when y'all gonna cast those who were in that world in that part, because they can truly understand the nuances and understand that whole world better than anybody else. But then when you cast those people, then you get people, oh, they're not really acting. Really? Because it's all a performance at the end of the day. Even with sex workers, they're performing. They're portraying a character when their whole job is to get that person off and get their coins and go about their business, or whatever the case is, because they got bills like the rest of us. So shout out to all the winners of the 97th annual. We got 3 more years, and it'll be 100 years since everybody's been around. But I'm sure, like, if you want to catch up who won what, you can go on social media and find out who all the big winners are. So I ask all of you, did you watch the Oscars? What did you guys think? Were you overwhelmed? Were you underwhelmed? Was it just like, okay, it was all right? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Well, Lord, we got a lot of comments. I saw like 35. I was like, hold on, let me scroll up. Um, oh, you said spoilers are out. Are they? I may have to look that up. hmm Demi should have won. I watched, or Demi should have won. I said Demi. That's Lovato. I watched Honor on Saturday and it was just okay. It was the hot, bald Russian who sold the movie. Wasn't he nominated too? Because I think that was the one that Robert Downey Jr. paid that spoke about. And you want to know something? I actually like this approach, the way they were doing the nominees this year with the actor, actress, supporting actress. I like how they would just talk to them, and the way Robert Downey Jr. did it, I thought was just the best part. Speaking of which, did y'all notice he was sashaying and pumping when he came to that? I said, Robert, you trying to RDJ, you trying to tell us something, Miss Mamas? But anyway, he said R.I.P. to her little sister. Wait, whose little sister? He's my Angie. Did I miss something? What hurt the substance is the last 30 minutes. Yes, it had to happen. Don't forget Halle Berry got revenge, right? Yeah, I talked about that. Um, yeah, I'm not mad at Mikey Madison. A sex worker set a normal age badly because it came before the Trump administration. Hollywood will abandon the film, and sex workers do the. Yeah, it's like, well, damn. He was keeping her uterus busy. Water, earth, fire, and air. Before Rio, Gaga is doing mayhem in Mexico City. Oh, she's trying to be revolutionary. She's like, y'all not gonna sit up here and throw shade. In fact, I'm copying off Madonna. I'm gonna pick another spot. 20 years on Avatar, The Last Airbender is still a groundbreaking show. Well, I'm actually looking for the forward to the second season of Avatar. I heard that they're doing another one. They're doing another Avatar animated series. But also, I'm looking forward to season 2 of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I like the first one that was on Netflix. I felt they did that to not acknowledge Carla like Netflix silenced it. Well, I don't know if that, but that doesn't make sense because Netflix actually paid for her to go to the Oscars. They paid for everything, even though the other award shows said they weren't even going to get involved or whatever the case is. But Carla basically was, Netflix paid for her to go because they wasn't paying all the other ones. But I don't know if it was necessarily a silence. I mean, look, Conan O'Brien made a joke about Carla and the tweets and all that other stuff. So once you acknowledge the elephant in the room, this whole trying to play holier than that, I'm like, it's so annoying. But you can still acknowledge what the true essence and core of the movie was. It wasn't like all about. It wasn't this whole, oh, well, it's a disrespectful to Mexico. Like it wasn't even, that wasn't even what the film was about. It wasn't about Mexico. It was about someone who is was in the gang world, mob world, and then they went and transit. Like it's all. I'm not gonna sit up here and explain this damn movie, but Ariana Grande fans are saying for Oscars because she didn't. Well, she wasn't winning all the other ones, so why she mad about the Oscars? That's like you wasn't winning on the other award you was doing. She thought she was gonna win. She didn't win a Golden Globe. She didn't win People's Choice. She didn't win a SAG. She didn't win the BAFTA. She didn't win any of that shit. So she thought she was gonna win an Oscar? To me, I didn't even understand. I mean, I really didn't understand the point of them nominating Wicked to begin with because I knew it was going to win like in the major categories, especially the type of films they were going up against. Maybe they were just trying to get younger people to watch. Same thing with the whole Doja Cat live performance thing. I was like, if that's what y'all trying to go to, y'all have to do a whole lot more than just some best song category and having some. Is she a singer? Is she a rapper? She's something. Get up there butchering somebody's song. And that's why I said it was like she wasn't gonna win. But we'll see if she wins for Wicked Part 2. The OG Last Airbender good, the reboot. Wait, I was like, what the hell? I thought I lost all my comments. Magical Mermaid's in the building. You said not Wicked. Demi didn't get an Oscar either, just saying Angela. Yep, and that's what Mikey Madison, yeah. That's what won the Oscar. Glenn Close was definitely laughing. She's been getting nominated since the 80s and still hasn't won. Okay. And look, people need to realize that whether or not you win an Oscar, that does not showcase the measure of whether or not you're a good actor. There's so many people that are around. I got even had this argument about the Grammys. There are so many talented people and people who try to measure success based on how many Grammys you have, how many records you sold. I'm like, there are so many people out here who have not sold 100 million records, that are not Grammy winners, that are iconic and have had their influence in the culture hijacked by bigger names. So, or have influenced other people down the road. So it's not always about, people always try to equate success with how many awards you collect. And to me, it's like, if that's what you in it for, then you in it for the wrong reason. You're not even here for the artistic integrity of it all. You're in it because you're just collecting awards like tchotchkes. Child, nobody don't care about that. I was about to say the F word. That queen. Adrian got a second Oscar, but he has no box office appeal. Well, yeah, because I don't even think that The Brutalist made any money at the box office, but does it matter? Because a lot of these movies that win awards don't really do that well financially at the box office. The only one I think on that whole list that made a shit ton of money, almost $1 billion, is Wicked. Everything else, it was like, it was successful in its own right, but yep, $6 million. And he even said it, and funny thing is I had in my notes, but he said it in the Oscar speech yesterday. He was like, yeah, we made this movie for $6 million. Blasphemous. No, I know what you meant. Why are we having a Last Airbender conversation? I was like, where is all this coming from? And why do I keep pressing the wrong button? Yeah, that in memoriam was trash. I do agree with that. They always acknowledge past nominees. They should divide up the memorials. Well, there was a lot going on that night anyway. I think they only acknowledge past winners. What you mean for Oscars? But I'm trying to think that any of these people that would be the dumbest thing, that we're only going to acknowledge who won an Oscar. Well, then y'all wouldn't have that many in memoriams to do then. They have some board that decide. Well, their board is dumb. The filmmaker of Nora made Tangerine. Oh, I actually like that movie. I totally forgot. And they were saying that this wasn't the first time he's won an Oscar. And I was like, I totally forgot that. I was like, what other movies did he do? But now you told me Tangerine. Didn't they make that movie on an iPhone? Because that movie was about trans girls. That was actually a good one too. I forgot where I saw that at. Probably on one of the streaming services. IDGI with the Oscars and memorial segment not mentioning Buffy's little sister. Megan Kelly saying Oscar saying, chill. Well, in the words of Don Lemon, she need to be focused on her man who allegedly be trying to slide and look. Don Lemon said that Megan Kelly man was trying to hit on his husband. So don't be worried about what sex work ain't real work when you married to allegedly a whole homosexual. So Megan, tread lightly, especially with that long, strong jaw you got. Focus on your shit, sis. So I don't care about that bitch. Glenn Close is the Susan Lucci and the Oscars. Yeah, so I can't wait till one day when they get Shamar Moore up there and say the streak is broken. What about Miss RuPaul? I said, I will say this, according to Matthew Redman, Lady Gaga is why Glenn lost the Oscar with her bring. Oh, okay. That's what he's saying. Here's a joint in late. I also tuned in late to the Oscars and missed the first 22 minutes and Conan's entire monologue, which apparently was a blessing. Was that a read? Oh, it was. Did I ask you? I was like, yeah, let me know how that movie was. Oh wait, I think it was Robert, I believe. Didn't you see Hard Eyes? So y'all all going out seeing the horror films? I saw The Monkey last night. It was good. The kill scenes was so funny. Um, Conan threw shade at MAGA and said, let's bomb the Bible Belt or annex them since they're out of touch with the rest of America. Well, aren't they all in a cult any damn way? Not this Megan T. Who's the one doing the bending? Apparently she is. You know she be putting that strap on. First of all, you already know how the maggots and them all, they're all in the closet. The ones that be out here hating on the gays and trying to roll back stuff, 9 times out of 10, didn't they say at the RNC that Grindr was going off like crazy? Can you imagine hearing that noise? Like just going about like just sound like just a marathon fart just going off. And then it was like, okay, which one of y'all up in here? All of them trying to go and find some meat to sit on, somebody meat popsicle to sit on, while they wives being all oblivious and off doing whatever, while they husbands go off and try to get hunched by, because you know they not the ones hunching, they doing the bending. Well, they said doing the bending means that you topping somebody. First of all, that line is stupid. I will forever feel like when you say doing the bending, that means you bending over, touching your toes, and trying to get something up your behind. So if Tyler Perry thought that he ate by trying to make it seem like doing the bending is the one like you bending somebody over the top of them, I'm like, that sounds dumb. It should be that you the one that's bending over. So I'm changing the term. Just like when we change terms on everything else, in this show, doing the bending means you a bottom. Next year's Oscars will be a wake-up call for Demi Moore. Well, we'll see. Yes, she did. I saw the pictures of her, and look, whatever she's doing, money well spent. Don't mess with your face no more, because you got a new album that you're supposed to be promoting. So we need that face to look snatched. Or maybe she went to Jane Fonda's surgeon, because I saw her the other day. Remember when she gave her speech? I was like, damn, Jane, you look good. She in her 80s. The body is snatched. The face is perfect. I was like, it don't look crazy. Like a blowfish, like Meg Ryan last night. Did y'all see her when she got up there with what's his name? Billy Crystal. You know who was looking a little crazy too, but I live for her. Goldie Hawn. What happened to her? She said she got cataracts. So I'm like, damn. Shout out to her. She did look like she was a little loopy. Maybe she needs some weed. But looking at Andrew Garfield up there, she was holding on to him for dear life. New day, new news. But anyway, let's move on, because we only did one topic and literally we're about to go an hour into the show. Has it been, am I that rusty? Well, it was like, look, it was a lot going on. So I did combine a lot of the Oscar talk up in there. So let's move on with the rest of the show. And since we already talked about Michelle Trachtenberg, let's talk about her again, because, you know, in addition to her being snubbed for, you know, the in memoriam situation where she should have been acknowledged, there were rumors, and funny enough, I was thinking about this too, that would she have appeared if she were alive in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot that they're currently working on? I don't know if it's, you know, they've got any scripts done or whatever the case is, but I was wondering if they were going to bring little Miss Dawn Summers, you know, aka the Key, that Glory was trying to get a hold of in season 5. In my opinion, one of the best seasons of, and I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but season 5 will always go down in history as like one of my favorite seasons. It was just epic in all proportions. So, Buffy the Vampire Slayer fans rejoiced when on February 3rd, it was announced that fan favorite Supernatural series will be returning for a reboot on Hulu. Now, unfortunately, the Scooby Gang will be missing a member with the death of Michelle Trachtenberg on Wednesday, February 26th. Now, she was best known for her roles in TV shows including Buffy and Gossip Girl, as well as films such as Ice Princess and Eurotrip. Now, earlier this month, it was confirmed that a reboot of the series following Vampire Slayer Buffy Summers, played by Sarah Michelle Gellar, is in the works. Now, details are scarce at the moment, except the fact that Sara, who's 47, will be returning and that Oscar winner director Chloe Zhao will be at the helm. I also heard someone say, oh, she's 47, so she might be too old to be fighting. I'm like, are y'all slow? 47 is not old, number one. And number two, what do you think? 47 means like you're 88? Like you can't move and you're going to be in a walker beating up, like staking people with the tips of your walker? Like, what is wrong with y'all? First of all, y'all got Tom Cruise out here in his damn 60s still doing stunts. You got Keanu Reeves doing John Wick and well into his 50s. So what the hell are y'all talking about? 47 is old. Like, get off my line with that. So now, however, it's been claimed that Trachtenberg, who starred as Buffy's younger sister Dawn Summers from 2000 to 2003, was poised to return. Now, Michelle Trachtenberg was in talks to return to Buffy, the reboot, and she was incredibly hopeful about it. This is what a source told DailyMail.com. Now, Michelle Sarah Michelle obviously felt that the reboot would need her as much as it needed Sara. The insider said that Trachtenberg had a pivotal role in the original series, and everyone was aware of her recent health struggles. Said they were hoping that perhaps casting her as Sarah's sister in a reboot would help her overcome any issues she was having. She was not cast out by any means. Tributes have poured in for Trachtenberg following the news of her death, including from her former co-stars. And we did talk about that the other day, where they had Blake Lively gave a tribute. Um, then there was Chase Crawford from Gossip Girl who spoke out. Allison Hannigan, who played Willow on the show. She's 50, by the way. I did not know that. Shout out to her. Wrote that she was deeply saddened by the news of the actress's death, saying she brought a loving energy to the set of Buffy. My thoughts are with Michelle's family and friends. David Boreanaz, who's 55, who appeared on Buffy and Angels, said it was sad, horrible news. RIP and prayers to her and her family. And even Sarah Michelle Gellar spoke out. We did speak about that the other day. And so what I was thinking in regards to all this, I would love to have seen Dawn come back as her sister and see like where she would have fit into the show. But now I kind of wonder, with this upcoming reboot, will there be something put into place where they could pay homage to Dawn and make it seem like she was taken out by an evil force or whatever the case is, and then Buffy comes back into the fold and seeks revenge? I don't know. They'll have to figure something out. They can find a way to, I guess, pay homage to her since she's not going to be a part of the show. That's something I would definitely like to see. But that's up to the writers and everybody else to figure that out. Me, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I would just like to see if they could pay homage to her in some sort of way. But if it doesn't fit in with the whole show, I mean, they have to acknowledge what's happening with her, I would think. So even if they don't do that, if they don't want to address the elephant in the room, which I think they will, because the fans, you already know how passionate the fandom is when it comes to these type of shows. Acknowledge it, figure out how you're going to do it. But if not, then you could just do in memoriam, Michelle Trachtenberg, RIP, whatever how it is they're gonna put in the post credits, like at the end when it fades out in the black and all the other stuff in the background. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to Michelle Trachtenberg possibly returning the way they're talking, that she was on board to return to the Buffy reboot? And now that she's not going to be a part of the franchise because she unfortunately, passed away, how will they fit her? What will they do to kind of acknowledge her absence in the reboot? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. So you said Goldie is almost 80 now. Look for the movie Puffer Fish starring Meg Ryan. Are you trying to say she looked like a puffer fish? And it said has tea that the romance between Ariana and SpongeBob is over. Is it because he was there last night? Yeah, well, yeah, Sarah Michelle Gellar is still alive, but and the weird part was, it's so crazy. Like even when I was talking about the whole Buffy thing, Dawn wasn't even at the top of my list. I wasn't even thinking about her in that way. I could be like, she could just been off living her life somewhere. But if they could figure it out. Sarah versus Jane Fonda, my money on Fonda outliving and fighting everyone. You got Pink doing a backflip and flying. Hello. And she's in her 40s. So when people and Usher is like 46, still out here dancing, out dancing his dancers who are, he's twice their age. They're in their 20s. Don't even get me started on Madonna. Before she started having her little ailments with the hip and the Madam X era, before that took her out, pretty much. And then this recent almost, bout with death when she did the Celebration tour, all her previous tours, the amount of physicality that she was bringing to her shows and how she would outperform her dancers. And she was in her 50s doing that. Age ain't nothing but a number. Yeah, you be feeling it, and it takes a long time to recover. But at the same time, if you got the energy and the tenacity to do it, you can get up there and do what needs to be done. Rover, I cannot with you. Yes, Pink. Wait, you didn't know that? Yeah, Pink is in her 40s. Pink is like what? 44, I think. Yeah, I think her and Justin Timberlake around the same age because Justin looked every bit of 44 too, quiet as it's kept. But well, now he looked actually 48. I'm not even going to throw shade at the 48-year-olds because 48-year-old people, they look good in their age too. But yeah, so I'll say he looks 68 because he ain't aging all that well either. But that's all that hard partying for you. But anyway, let's move on and let's get into this Gene Hackman story. So, we were talking about, the thing of like when they were found unalive in their house, whatever. A lot of people thought that there was some carbon monoxide poison that may have taken him out. But now there was word coming out that may have been dead um 10 days before his body was found. So that was like literally, it sounds about right around the time of the 2 weeks that the people that worked on the compound said that they were not at the place. So they probably had died shortly after they were gone, and then he died. And then maybe she died of a broken heart. But anyway, according to Variety, it says the deaths of Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, remain under investigation. Now, Santa Fe County Sheriff Aiden Mendoza shared at a press conference on Friday afternoon. In a statement, Mendoza stated that both Hackman and Arakawa's bodies tested negative for carbon monoxide poisoning. Now, the sheriff also disclosed that Hackman's pacemaker recorded its last event on February 17th, meaning that it is currently assumed that that is the date that the actor died. Mendoza said there remains uncertainty over the order of the couple's deaths. Now, final toxicology and autopsy reports remain pending, a process that Mendoza says could be a month or 3 months longer. Initial findings indicate that there was no external trauma to either individual. Now, in their investigation, authorities collected 2 green cell phones, 2 bottles of medication, 1 bottle of over-the-counter Tylenol, a request for medical records, and a 2025 monthly planner for evidentiary purposes. The sheriff also stated that they have found no security inside or outside the residence that could be collected to help determine a timeline. Authorities will continue to conduct interviews with workers within the couple's gated community. Now, the bodies of Hackman, who's 95, and Arakawa, who's 65, he married a woman 30 years younger than him. Well, isn't that usually how it is in Hollywood? Were discovered along with one of the couple's dogs in their Santa Fe, New Mexico home Wednesday afternoon. Authorities stated that foul play was not suspected. The death of the couple was later deemed suspicious by investigators in a search warrant affidavit. Now, Hackman and Arakawa were found after a concerned maintenance worker contacted neighborhood security to perform a welfare check. Arakawa was discovered lying on a bathroom floor. A prescription pill bottle was open on the countertop with pills scattered nearby. Now, Hackman was found in the mudroom adjacent to the kitchen. A German Shepherd was also discovered in the bathroom closet near Arakawa's body. 2 healthy dogs remain on the property, and the County Animal Control Division was summoned to ensure their safety, per the sheriff's office. Now, authorities initially shared that Arakawa's body showed obvious signs of death, body decomposition, bloating in her face, and mummification in both hands and feet. Hackman's body was similar and consistent with the female descendant or descendant. You want to know something? This, like, when you hear stuff about this is like, oh my God, like the human body, the things that it goes through when you're dying. Like, people be talking about that all kinds of the fluids be coming out of your body, like you be shitting yourself through all kinds of, I'm like, ew. Like, I could never work in a morgue because I'm me having to deal with all that. First of all, I couldn't work in a morgue, and I damn sure couldn't work in a hospital and be a nurse, because the stories that I've heard from people in my family that are nurses and the things that y'all be protruding and inserting in y'all bodies that be having to get removed and things of that nature, and the fluids that come out of y'all, it's like, I can't. It's like, it's funny how I can tolerate body horror in a movie, but I can't tolerate real life body horror because I'm like, But but the funny enough, if you study it enough, it might be great inspiration to include in a movie. So yeah, that is the latest update on that. And we already spoke about his daughter, Leslie Ann Hackman, who spoke to the Daily Mail about her father's death and said that he was in a very good physical condition despite his old age. And actually thanked his wife for keeping him on a strict diet, keeping him on a straight and narrow, and taking good care of him. So at this point, all we can do right now is just wait until the official autopsy comes out for us to find out what the details of their deaths are. But it's good to know. Well, I didn't even know about what pacemakers do because I don't have one. But Pacemaker is keeping a record of like, okay, so when it shut off, that's around the time that, okay, if you're not alive, the pacemaker no longer is useful. So then you can record what had happened to the person, and then that's that. So I do like the idea that we have that information, and I also love the fact that now we know there was no carbon monoxide poisoning. So now, like I said, all we have to do right now is just wait for the autopsy report, and then we'll know, I guess, based off of what they find out, what was their cause of death. So I say all of this to you guys. What do you think of this latest development regarding Gene Hackman and his wife, you know, being found, and then they said that they were tested negative for carbon monoxide poisoning? So, and I will definitely keep you guys abreast of this story as it develops. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Ooh. They said, I think she's 44, almost 45. Mm-hmm. I think she was born in 81 or something or another. Timothy let Army Hammer leave him limp because of Call Me By Your Name. So I'll be 49 in 3 weeks. Well, happy early birthday, Felix. Something tells me she discovered he was gone and wanted to. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, could you imagine? Because, some people, I truly believe that whole die of a broken heart thing where some people's like, I can't live without the love of my life. So it's just like, Lord, take me now, or you take yourself out. In the, Dr. Kevorkian kind of way. So I do believe that there are some people in this world that literally do die of a broken heart. Charlie Angel's Full Throttle has feel good time. You know what? I love me. I actually like Charlie's Angels and Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. A couple of weeks ago, I actually bought those movies because I was like, I don't know. I was watching something on YouTube where they were doing like a breakdown of it. So I was like, oh my God, I forgot how fun and silly these movies are. And I didn't realize that I didn't own it on digital. I have the physical copy and it's somewhere packed up in storage. So I was just like, me, I'll sit and I'll buy the same movie multiple times if I don't have it. It's like, I know I got the physical copy, but I need the digital. So that way, if I ever want to pop it on, I'll just pop it on instead of me having to search through boxes of stuff to try to find old DVDs that I have in storage. That's what I said. Not hospitals or morgues. I was even trying to think now, when I leave this earth, do I want to be buried? I was going to say, or castrated. I meant cremated. I think I want to be cremated and just have my ashes spread somewhere. You know what? Spread me in the dirt at some gay club. Do me in that. Or or in the Rambles in Central Park. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. But I already know, like, my sister has her burial plot. My parents have their burial plot. They're going out to Pine Lawn in Long Island. So they already got their plot. I don't even have mine because I was even thinking about that. I'm gonna live forever like Fame, child. And they said, remember Debbie Reynolds died the day after Carrie Fisher because some people have that connection. Yeah, I mean cremated, not castrated. So, we don't want to do that. Although somebody tried to say in my comments that that's how Tim Kruger died, that he put his penis in a damn meat chipper or wood chipper. I said, don't come on my line with that foolishness because I ain't hear nothing about that. But we're going to talk about Tim Kruger when we get down later on into the show. But in the meantime, let's get through these other messy topics because, as I always say, another day, another diddler story. So the diddler is being accused yet again of abuse, this time by none other but than Kirk Burrowes, who, used to be a co-owner of Bad Boy Entertainment. And, he's already filed a lawsuit. The last time we talked about Kirk Burrowes on the show was probably like maybe an episode or two ago, where he's basically suing the diddler's mother, Madam Janice. That's what I'm starting to call her now, because that's where Diddy learned his pimpation situation from. Had to have been from her and them dry ass, Uhura wigs that she be wearing. Remember when Uhura, shout out to Nichelle Nichols, remember when she played a pimptress in those old blaxploitation? I can't remember the name of the movie, but I always be seeing the clips online, and she be giving me my life. The way she be slapping around them little white prostitutes, and then she be cussing people. I can't remember the name of that, but y'all know what I'm talking about with her. If you ever see the clips online, it is always a cackle. But nevertheless, now Kirk Burrowes is coming out, and he's throwing shade at the diddler. So on Friday, Well, I should say, Kirk Burrowes, co-founder and former president of Bad Boy Entertainment, has filed a lawsuit against the diddler, accusing him of deeply disturbing pattern of SA violence and intimidation spanning more than a decade. Now, the complaint filed in New York by Burrowes' lawyer Tyrone Blackburn alleges years of predatory behavior, creating a toxic environment of coercion, fear, and psychological manipulation. So on February 28th, Burrowes' lawyer filed an 18-page complaint against his former business partner in New York, alleging years of predatory actions towards him and an overall fostering of a toxic environment of coercion, fear, and psychological manipulation. This is according to court documents obtained by People. So in the complaint, Combs, who's 55, is accused of subjecting Burrowes to repeated sexual harassment, physical aggression, and forced compliance with degrading acts, including unwanted sexual advances such as nudity, sexual overtones, voyeurism, and acts of exhibitionism, some of which took place during what he had believed to be business meetings. The longtime music mogul is accused of escalating the campaign of control, resorting to physical violence, blackmail, career sabotage, and financial extortion, which the complaint alleges included forced coercion so Burrowes would give up 25% ownership stake in Bad Boy Entertainment, which we talked about on the last episode, but all this extra stuff didn't come out then. It was basically focused on his case towards Janice and saying that how his 25% share was given to her when he helped build Bad Boy Entertainment back when his ass got fired over there at Uptown Records. So now Burrowes previously filed a suit against Combs over an alleged 1996 incident in 2003, but the earlier complaint was eventually dismissed. So here's the thing: when everybody, well, why didn't you file then? Why did you do this? Well, look, he filed the suit 20 damn years ago, but the earlier complaint was dismissed. So now he's back at it again. I guess now because there's so much about Diddy out now, he feels that maybe this time people will actually listen to me now that I'm filing it again. Now, Burrowes' February 28th complaint comes 2 days after he filed an additional legal action against Combs' mother, Janice Combs, claiming she unlawfully took control of his 25% stake in Bad Boy following Combs' alleged threat of physical violence. In it, he claimed that Combs' mother knowingly participated in a fraudulent scheme to obtain 100% control of Bad Boy Entertainment and carefully maintain a facade of integrity, portraying herself as an innocent bystander while orchestrating plaintiff's financial and professional downfall behind the scenes, per court documents obtained by People. Now, in a statement to People, Combs' legal team said this latest lawsuit filed by Kirk Burrowes, filed by none other than Tyrone Blackburn, is another frivolous attempt to relitigate claims that have been repeatedly thrown out of court over the past 30 years. Well, I'm surprised they actually switched it up with their complaint, because every now and again, they like to put out the same damn post and the same tight ass story in regards to people who be accusing Diddy of all the things that they've accused him to. Diddy probably gonna, even if he were to get off, which I don't think he will, I'm still standing 10 toes down on that. This man is gonna be wrapped up in litigation for the rest of his damn life with all these people coming after him, with all these court cases. I've lost count of how many cases that he's got. And we got another one that we got to talk about coming up too, from somebody who was a part of the Bad Boy roster. But let's get through this one first. So now, despite repeated dismissals, Burrowes and Blackburn are intent on wasting the court's time and resources by refiling dismissed claims and now dragging Mr. Combs' 80-year-old mother into this. This is what they added into their rebuttal against what Kurt and his lawyer, Tyrone Blackburn, are putting out here in the streets. Now, the new filing against Combs, which cites New York Gender Motivated Violence Act, New York City's, I should say, Gender Motivated Violence Act, marks another in a series of allegations against a musician who has been accused by more than a dozen people of sexual misconduct, which he has denied. Now, Combs is also facing federal criminal charges, such as sex trafficking and transportation to engage in prostitution, in which he has pleaded not guilty. The music mogul is being held at the Metropolitan Detention in Brooklyn, blah, 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 blah. We already know he's going to be there till May. So, yeah, so he's going to be there for a while, though. And that's Kirk Burrowes looking all upset. He looked mad. Why you mad, though? Why you mad, though? Now, the complaint states that Burrowes served as both the chief operating officer and general manager of Bad Boy following his development in the 90s. It alleges that Combs engaged in sexual coercion and exhibitionism in the workplace between 1992 and 1994, allegedly forcing Burrowes to watch as he engaged in sexual acts with employees, interns, prospective artists, and third parties at the Bad Boy Entertainment office, reinforcing his control through humiliation and intimidation. Chad, well, who was the prospective artist? I want to know that. See, Combs would allegedly summon his associate under false pretenses via the company's intercom, per the complaint, having Burrowes into a room where Combs would allegedly be receiving a professional or engaging in other lewd acts. That would be another word I use for baloney wash, which the filing calls his attempt at psychologically breaking down plaintiff's resistance and establishing his submission and Diddy's dominance. I added that last part in. Now, they said he would make inappropriate and sexually suggestive remarks about Burrowes' body and also claimed that Burrowes being present for his sexual activities was part of the culture of the entertainment industry and a requirement for success. The complaint claims that such actions escalated to physical coercion and forced submission between 1995 and 1996. Now, this includes a 1995 business trip where Combs alleged to have demanded Burrowes watch him pleasure himself, another incident in late 1995 where Combs allegedly pinned him down onto the bed and simulated intercourse until he skated. You know, I'm having to change words up in here. And other allegations of him grabbing his associate's package. And I ain't talking about the one from Amazon. Now, he also alleged to have requested Burrowes give him a handy J, a BJ, and to use objects, child, not in the poop shoot. He said, and to use objects on him in the poop shoot. Let me find out Diddy likes it in the bud. Yes, what? I don't know why I'm acting surprised. Yeah, and you know, as I quote Little Kim, when I do that. So now he also alleged to have requested, oh, I already read that part. Now, elsewhere in the complaint, because child is a lot. I'm not laughing for the, you know, I'm just saying it's a lot. Elsewhere in the complaint, Combs is again accused of having stormed into Burrowes' office with a baseball bat in an effort to get him to sign over his 25% stake in Bad Boy Entertainment, Inc., or face violent repercussions. Burrowes then signed away his ownership stake without receiving any financial compensation in 1996, with Combs allegedly have taken active measures to erase his legacy at the company. Burrowes also accused Combs of post-termination harassment and blacklisting, taking place as recent as 2022. He is alleged to have been personally contacting industry execs, warning them against working with plaintiff and labeling him as untrustworthy. Did not say that that's what he was doing. That it was like, that's why his career suffered and why he was out here saying he was homeless, because Diddy was somebody who was at the top of the food chain in regards to like the whole hip hop space, whether you liked his music or what he was about and the whole pomp and circumstance of it all. Diddy was one of the most powerful people in hip hop, and people go where the money resides. So you want to take this man's word over a Kirk Burrowes, who people don't really know and aren't familiar with as a big name. So I could just go out and say anything and ruin your career. It happens all the time. So, and additional accusations in the complaint are more recent, including a claim that Combs' security details surrounded and threatened him around 2013 and 2014 in New York City before Combs allegedly grabbed his booty cheeks and pulled them closely to his body to simulate a bear hug, and another alleged incident that took place at Diana Ross' birthday party in 2019. Now, upon seeing plaintiff, Combs aggressively grabbed him, forcefully restraining him in the same fake bear hug that he did years prior, the complaint alleges. As was the case in the 90s and early 2000s, Combs seized the opportunity to degrade plaintiff by grabbing him close, slapping him on his rear end, and daring plaintiff to do something about it. Combs then proceeded to grope plaintiff in an overt attempt to assert dominance over him, humiliating plaintiff in the presence of others. Now, Burrowes' complaint against Combs, filed on February 28th, ultimately alleges a history and propensity for violence, with Burrowes requesting a jury trial and seeking to be provided with redress for the physical, emotional, and financial devastation inflicted upon him. So, yeah, there you have it. That is the okay. So now Diddy and Janice with her classic looking face or whatever don't want to come over. I was trying to see, don't I have um oh yeah, I do have that. So yeah, let me put that up there. So if y'all out here being assaulted and all this other stuff, definitely call this number. You know, I always try to do my due diligence when it comes to the supporting of the people and what's going on in these streets. So yeah, there's that. And I'll definitely keep you guys abreast of this story as it develops, because child, Diddy, you a whole ass mess. And why is it that even though, you know, some people are like, oh yeah, I'm just making it up, whatever. No, I believe it. The many stories I heard about Diddy, I don't put nothing past that man. Now, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? This is the latest development. You got Kirk Burrowes out here finally trying to get his just due because, you know, he's been taken advantage of for the past 30 years. And Diddy, while he thrived, he had that man threaten him, basically trying to pull a Suge Knight and have him sell over 25% of his shares so that way he can give it and keep it within his family while everybody else suffers. We've seen many a times throughout the careers of the many people who have signed up to be a part of the Bad Boy roster or register, whatever you want to call it, that they walked away with little to nothing. They residuals or you know the publishing rights and all this stuff that they have for their music is worth nothing these days. So I don't put nothing past Diddy up in here doing things as a way of intimidation and to actually show dominance. Because here's the thing, when it comes to abuse of any kind, sexual or whatever, it's not about pleasure. It's about power. It's about trying to be like, yeah, I am the alpha male in this room and you ain't shit. You gonna bow down to me and you gonna do what I say. And I'm gonna make sure that I got you up against the ropes and there's nowhere for you to go. So I don't know why people don't have a problem like trying to address this. Is like the same people that's in the Trump cult. This man has been accused of so many things and now still worship the ground that man walking on. I think he can't do no damn wrong. So I'm not putting none past this stuff, but like I said, he's putting all this together. He wants a jury trial, and we'll see if the judges, you know, once they dot all the I's across all the T's, if this actually will go to court, and we'll just take it from there. And I'll keep you guys abreast of that story as it develops. So I want to hear from you all in regards to this story. So whatever your thoughts are, definitely y'all know what to do. Hit me down in the comments right down below. All right, y'all. So let's go to these comments. Something tells me she was, oh yeah, I read that one. I read that one. I read that one. Remember Debbie? Oh yeah, I read that one. Okay, where am I going? Happy 49th. I'm just like clicking all the other ones. Not the special handle. Okay, it's in certain objects. It's all right, Diddy. I knew you like your prostate played with, and not by the doctor. Not the Diddy turkey based stuff. Skeeting while dry graping someone is really something. Okay. Tim Walz is considering a run in 2028. I feel he was more well, quiet as is kept. The shit out of my ass was more popular than Kamala Harris. She wasn't even favored as the vice president, so I don't even know why people acting shy. But I don't know if, oh, gosh. I mean, I see that, you know what, regardless of how people feel about Bernie Sanders, I have been seeing him going around in like the purple states or whatever the case is, that he's been going around doing his bid and all of this stuff and getting the people all excited. And that's what some of these Democrats need to be doing. And I feel like a lot of them need to jump on board with him, even if he doesn't win. Like, who is the next person that's going to come up and get everybody excited? Because now I think everybody's walking around weak, feeling defeated. You got James Carville, Crypt Keeper looking ass, talking about, oh, just play possum. I'm like, really? I mean, y'all been playing quiet as it's kept. Y'all been playing possum since Obama left office. So you can't, if you play any more dead, you'd be roadkill. So I don't understand, like, how y'all gonna go and say this is the thing? Oh, let them implode. I'm like, no, that's not what you do. This is the time when you stand up and actually fight back and let these people know that Elon Musk, we didn't vote for him. We didn't elect him. Well, I didn't elect Trump either because I think he's an idiot. But I mean, I always thought he was an idiot since he was in New York as a fake real estate developer. He's not a real developer. He's somebody who puts his name on shit and decides to take all the damn credit. Yes, he took it back though, and it took him long enough. But now, Eric Adams got his own federal crimes that he got to worry about trying to get out of. And now we got, speaking of federal crime, or not even federal crime, because I don't know if he's been hit with any federal crimes, but sexual harassers. Now we got Andrew Cuomo trying to run for mayor. I said, no, hell no. We don't need you trying to come out here and run for mayor again. Yeah, I don't want him. So we need somebody else. I said, damn, I forgot his freaking name. I think his name is Zohar or something or another. He's a Millionaire, the director. Her son, he's running for president. He's running for mayor. I don't know why I'm thinking president. Probably because I can't wait till we get a new one. So, did you see the pic of her watching the Oscars with a bowl of Doritos? Mm-hmm. Are we talking about Kamala Harris? No. And it's funny how, here's another thing. And they were also talking about, you see how the Democrats are and how full of shit y'all are. So you see what's happening with our democracy as we speak, right? And y'all was sitting up here warning us against, oh, he's a threat to democracy and da 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 and all that other stuff, right? What's Kamala and Joe Biden doing? Signing with CAA because they want to be on TV. It's like, oh, so this is what we're doing. Y'all trying to get representation to get in Hollywood. So what's the threat? But then again, you saw Obama kikiing with Trump, like they good old former Judies that they went to college together. And then you got the other old bastard, the last president we had, going to be, yeah, they're all getting red because you Democrats, y'all you're a joke. And then this makes me realize, like, you know what, on both sides, y'all all need to just be burned at the stake. And then you have Joe Biden's about welcome home. I'm like, is this motherfucker serious? I'm gonna need Jill to go in the house and change this motherfucker's pamper because you pissing me off with this. And so he's welcoming him home. Mind you, we got a freaking robber baron literally destroying our democracy, got all access to our social security and all this other mess, wielding chainsaws on TV looking like Leatherface. So you was on brand with that because you literally look like Leatherface. Like you took somebody's new skin and put it on your face and you still look hideous. Elon Musk, if that man did not have money, I do not believe he would be having the amount of kids and getting all the pussy that he's been getting. There's no way in hell somebody that look like him will be getting all that damn, will be getting the coochie that he be getting. So yeah, that's exactly what it is. They two sides of the same damn coin, but the Democrats be trying to play good cop, bad cop. And don't even get me started on that old crooked T bastard, Hakeem Jeffries, who took, and it ain't alleged, he took money from APAC. He took money from Peter Thiel, and now he took money from Elon Musk because they mad because that was like the Republicans over on the side is doing what they doing. They got they grift all out in the open and don't care. Now you got the Dem. Oh well, we want a little bit of that too. Now they having a case of FOMO. They want to get up in there and get that little money as well. So they're no damn different. This is why when you look at these old dead fish like Hakeem Jeffries, and you got the other one, Amy Schumer's stupid ass cousin, about I'm like, child, if y'all ass don't believe it, then we don't either. Move to the side. We don't want y'all. Move. Oh, ow. It's kind of like Jada Pinkett in Scream. It's like, move. Like she's trying to watch the movie. It's like, y'all in the way. Move, bitch. Get out the way. Get out the way, bitch. That's what to be our theme song for some of these old ass Democrats. Move, bitch. Get out the way. Let's license Ludacris song. The Democrats didn't live up to their name, push an old Joe. First of all, he should have been out after that one damn term, and y'all should have been trying to move up who the next one. But y'all so engulfed in using that money. We don't need to be allowing money. Small donations is what will actually help. If you actually can find a politician who's probably up on the rise as we speak, we just don't know it yet, who are just all about get corporate money out of our government, give Medicare for all, give people a living wage, stop raising the goddamn rent every 6 freaking months because people cannot afford $3,000 for a one freaking bedroom that's the size of a walk-in closet. If y'all actually start giving people a way of living, and the people that out here that literally think that these oligarchs like a Trump or whatever actually give a damn about you, y'all are just about as dumb as y'all look because they don't care. All they care, all they're doing right now, especially with this Doge BS that was put into place because now they're out here looking for money. So that way they can go and split it and break off some tax breaks for their rich cronies. Silicon Valley owns us at this point. That's what it is. Why do you think that when you saw that man get sworn in and didn't put his hand on the Bible because the shit would have caught on fire if he did? Why do you think that, you know, he had all his still tech friends had better seats than the politicians that were in the White House during the inauguration? Because they were the ones who own us, not the government. They don't care about us. It's Silicon Valley. They bought into our democracy, and now they're here to dismantle it, like Elon's horrible ass Teslas, which he's losing a lot of money for, by the way. And didn't they say they're about to send Katy Perry and them up in space? Well, leave their ass there. Them and Gail, dumbass King, said, "Oh, you better come get your scissor sister." Corporations on the new government. Anyway, let me move on. Let me get off my political soapbox. Because it's like, y'all put that stuff in there, and of course, Robert got to get me started. Anyway, where we going? Okay, we got another Diddy damn story. So in addition to Kirk Burrowes, the former co-owner of Bad Boy, taking him to court, remember Sara Rivers, who was a part of the band? Well, she's suing Diddy too. And she was recently in its documentary that was on Peacock that Diddy's people, apparently Diddy is suing them for $100 million for defamation. And she came out and said that he touched her inappropriately and all the other stuff. Then we had Chopper, who was a part of the band, also saying that that's a lie, that she was out here laying low and spreading the wide, allegedly, with Diddy and Genuine and a bunch of other people saying that, oh yeah, she was getting passed around like a petri dish. So, that was according to him. But look, she filed the lawsuit. So, and I don't know, I'm kind of side-eyeing a little bit, but like we said, we're supposed to believe the victims, right? But there's nothing wrong with questioning the stuff that comes out from people when they say this. So anyway, let's get into the story. So according to Rolling Stone, they said that Sara Rivers has filed a $60 million lawsuit against Diddy, alleging the mogul sexually harassed her and stroked her boobs during filming of the hit MTV reality show. Rivers claimed that after she refused Combs' alleged advances, he retaliated against her and blackballed her from the music industry. Well, did he blackball all of the other members? Because we ain't heard from you or them since the show went off the air. And then he came back with Danity Kane, and we already know the mess that transpired with that show and the group. But let's focus on that. Sidebar, whatever happened to Donnie Klang? I hope he ain't touch on him. Donnie was a cutie too, but I was like, I hope you ain't mess with that little white boy. He's so, I mean, I like this little Bob. But yeah, whatever happened to Donnie Klang? Because I used to love me some Donnie Klang back in the day. But anyway, let's get into this. So she said that she described her alleged hellish filming experience in a massive 148-page complaint filed Friday as the look-back window was set to close on otherwise expired claims linked to New York City's Gender Motivated Violence Act. Now, more than a dozen other plaintiffs filed separate claims against Combs on Friday to make the same deadline. Rivers, who went by Sarah Stokes on the show, claims Combs controlled her sleeping schedule, mocked her eating disorder, yelled at her, and forced her to do menial manual labor without pay, including the time, I remember when they had to walk from Manhattan to Brooklyn to bring him back a cheesecake. Remember that? That is in the show. That was actually in the episode. And to this day, I feel like that is the most iconic scene to come out of that show. We still talk about that to this day. Like, that was just bonkers to really think like you would make them do that. But coming from that era, the way I looked at it and the way many people looked at it was, this was just to show how bad you wanted to be famous. But here's the thing. Last time I checked, I ain't no goddamn intern. I'm an artist. So why the hell am I going all the way to Brooklyn to get your ass a damn cheesecake at Junior's? And I've been to that Junior's in Brooklyn to bring back to your ass in Manhattan. Make that make sense. But back in the day, we looked at it as that was just, showing how bad you wanted to be famous. Only to see that their careers ain't really go nowhere. Now, beyond what the suit calls inhumane working conditions, Rivers claims she endured Combs sexually harassing her. The music executive allegedly made humiliating comments about her physical appearance, including the time he purportedly inspected her backside and remarked everything needed to get firmed up. Now, in an encounter Rivers labeled a battery, she accused Combs of cornering her in his recording studio, raising his right arm to block her movement and asking in a low, sensual voice if she needed anything. She claims Combs then ran his left hand across her breast while repeated the phrase, and if she needed anything, let him know. Rivers said that she bolted from the encounter in shock and disbelief. The complaint names more than 24 defendants, including Combs' mother Janice, Universal Music, MTV, and several other bad boy officials. Rolling Stone has reached out to Combs, Janice Combs. Well, you called up the prison? So they said that they reached out to him, his mother, and Universal Music. Said, quote, this is yet another example of false claims being filed against Mr. Combs. No matter how many lawsuits are filed, especially by individuals who refuse to put their own names behind their claims, it won't change the fact that Mr. Combs has never S-A'd or S-trafficked anyone, man or woman. Okay, this seems like the same damn post that y'all always post. However, Sara did put her name on it. So what are you talking about? She's not a Jane Doe. She literally came out and said that he did this to her. She said it in the documentary on Peacock, and now she put it in the form of a violation. So what are y'all talking about? It's like, stop repeating the same message and actually really put out something. Like, y'all on the budget, like y'all run out of money, you couldn't come up with a whole new statement. So they said Diddy made it known if plaintiff did not sign, the group would not continue, her lawsuit claims. In exchange for her signature, Rivers alleged she received a one-time payment of $25,000. Rivers claims her rejection of Combs' advances, along with her questioning her of contracts and her refusal to fulfill a bad boy directive that she posed for Playboy, led Combs to abruptly fire her and disband the entire group. She alleges that after she was banished from Bad Boy, her attempts to continue her music career were thwarted by Combs. Rivers claimed that she once had an offer on the table from Capitol Records, but later learned that Combs interfered and personally called executives at the label telling them not to sign with her. In addition to Rivers' complaint, Combs was hit with claims from more than a dozen others Friday in the final hours of the GMVA claim revival window. Initially passed in 2000 with a 7-year statute of limitation on claims, the GMVA was amended in 2022 to allow victims to file otherwise time-barred lawsuits during a look-back window spanning March 1st, 2023 to March 1st, 2025. Scores of accusers have sued Combs during this time, starting with Combs' longtime partner, Cassandra Cassie Ventura. In her lawsuit filed November 16, 2023, Cassie cited the GMVA as she claimed Combs subjected her to trafficking, severe beatings, and the R word while acting as her label boss and intimate partner. Aspiring musical artist Seven Guzel filed her own 44-page lawsuit on Friday, alleging Combs groomed and R-worded her on multiple occasions after they first met in 2017. Already a signed artist at the time, Guzel said Combs lavished her with praise, frequently invoked his power to influence her career, and regularly plied her with drugs and alcohol. During the first instance of SA, Combs forcibly compelled plaintiff to perform a baloney wash before violently R-wording her. This occurred without her consent and despite her explicit refusal to engage in any acts with him. Guzel claimed she fell into a cycle of abuse with Combs where he would alternate between S-ing and humiliating her and then showering her with excessive kindness. Well, that's what a abuser does. They abuse you and then I'll never do it again, and they shower you with gifts and all that other stuff. It's one of the pages in the playbook. She also claimed that Combs coerced her into taking pills and rendered her unconsciousness. Guzel says one alleged attack happened at a studio owned by Sony Music in New York, while another took place on a flight. She alleged she woke up on the flight to find Combs R-wording her. According to her lawsuit, Combs' chief of staff, Christina Coram, helped facilitate and cover up the alleged abuse. Yeah, because she's known as the Ghislaine Maxwell of his little empire. What is playing out at the moment still feels very surreal and has put me in a whirlwind and roller coaster of heavy emotions. This is what Guzel told Rolling Stone. To see other victims speak out and describe in detail very similar things that have happened to me is something nobody can prepare you for. It took me months to even read Cassie's lawsuit. It was extremely difficult to process, to say the least. Now, Guzel said she decided to step forward now in the hope she might help other aspiring artists in the music industry, saying, quote, I hope what I am doing gives young women and men the courage to stand up for themselves, she says. Artists are a very important part of our society and need to be protected at all costs. What was done by Sean Combs to me, as alleged in my complaint, is unacceptable. End quote. Now, Guzel's lawyer, Jordan Merson, says Combs subjected his client to a pattern of abuse, saying Seven's case is very similar to Cassie. She was up and coming and extremely talented, and Sean Combs said he was taking her under his wing. Instead, he put her through hell for 4 to 5 years. This is what Merson told Rolling Stone, saying that he would subject her to horrific SA, and then he would use his power to keep her in his orbit. Both Corin and Sony were listed as defendants in Guzel's lawsuit. Defendants they said attempts to reach representatives for both were not immediately successful. So now Mercer filed a second lawsuit on Friday on behalf of 7 other plaintiffs with separate claims against Combs spanning a 20-year period. Well, damn, Diddy, you was busy. Just like, it's like anybody that came in your wake, you were just taking advantage of them. So now Latasha Forbes claimed that she was 17 years old in 1994 when Combs allegedly R-worded her at Bad Boy offices in New York. Billy Cummings alleged she was 14 or 15 years old in 1995 when Combs allegedly molested her by grabbing her cootie cat during a video shoot for the Notorious B.I.G. in New York. Now, plaintiff Ian Farron claims Combs violently SA'd him in 2003 when he was 19. Yet another lawsuit filed Friday was entered on behalf of a Jane Doe who alleged she was 16 when Combs allegedly assaulted her in 1993. The plaintiff claims that she had just given birth to a child shortly before the incident, but managed to make her way to what she thought was an audition to be a backup dancer for Combs. She alleged she ended up at a home on Long Island where Combs handed her a drink that she believes was laced. Jane Doe claims that she was rendered completely unconscious and woke up in the back of a moving vehicle hours later with signs that she had been severely damaged and brutalized in ASA, according to the lawsuit. Texas attorney Tony Busby also filed 7 more lawsuits against Combs in the final hours of the GMVA revival window. And one of the new complaints filed on Friday, the lawyer who first sued Combs last October said he was representing a John Doe who was 14 years old in 2006 when Combs allegedly assaulted a minor in a hotel in Manhattan. Now, with the deadline for New York Gender Motivated Violence Act expiring tomorrow, that was like a couple of days ago. Well, it was on the 1st. It's clear that opportunists are rushing to file last-minute meritless claims. This is what Combs' legal team said. Mr. Combs remains confident they will prevail in court. Well, we'll see, because a lot of people are coming out. Some Jane Does and John Does, and some just putting their names out there. So, as I said about all the other cases, we'll just have to see what happens in regards to that. But there's nothing else I can add to that because I wasn't there. But we can believe the victims, but you can take precaution in whether or not what you believe and don't believe. But we'll just have to wait and see until all of this heads to court. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this latest development in Diddy? We talked about a previous story in regards of someone who was a part of his company, the helping creating of the company, Burrowes, his accusations. Now we got Sara Rivers from the band coming out with her accusations after she just recently made her first declaration of abuse at the hands of the diddler in the Peacock documentary, which he is currently suing them for $100 million. So whatever your thoughts are on this whole situation, let me know in the comments down below. He said, all these politicians are corrupt. There are literally thousands of videos online showing Ukrainian men being snatched up off the street. Oh, damn. Well, I had somebody in, I had Lady Bunny was over there doing this whole thing about Ukraine and Zelensky, and the people was eating her up in the comments. I'm like, child, I'm not going there. Because, when people don't want to hear the truth about certain things of how ugly war and politics and stuff are, I was like, I'm staying out of it. But anyway, where we going? Oh, let's talk about Drizzy. So, apparently they're saying he settled with iHeartMedia and UMG. I honestly don't understand why we're still even going on with this. I just feel like this whole lawsuit is stupid. It doesn't make any sense. You're not going to win this case, and so yeah, let's get into the story. So it says in November, Drake filed a legal petition in Bexar County, Texas, where San Antonio is located, alleging that iHeartMedia had received illegal payments from Universal Music Group to boost radio airplay for Not Like Us. Now, UMG is the parent company label for both Drake and Kendrick Lamar. The petition, a precursor to a potential lawsuit, had sought depositions from corporate representatives of both companies. Now, in a court document filed Thursday, attorneys for Drake said that the rapper and iHeartMedia had reached an amicable resolution of the dispute but did not offer any other information, saying we are pleased that the parties were able to reach a settlement satisfactory to both sides and have no further comment on this matter. This is what Drake's legal team said in a statement. Now, in an email on Friday, iHeartMedia declined to comment on the settlement. Now, the claims against UMG remain active, and a hearing on a motion by UMG's lawyers to dismiss the petition was scheduled to be held on Wednesday in a San Antonio courtroom. So now Drake has alleged UMG engaged in irregular and inappropriate business practices to get radio airplay for Not Like Us. The petition also alleges that UMG knew the song itself, as well as its accompanying album art and music video, attacked the character of another one of UMG's most prominent artists, Drake, by falsely accusing him of being an S offender, engaging in pedophilic acts, harboring S offenders, and committing other criminal S acts. An email to UMG representatives said, so on and so forth. So now Drake filed a defamation thing because, he said that there were false allegations of pedophilia made in the video. But he didn't name Lamar, where it's weird because Kendrick said all this about you. So you feel like UMG, iHeartMedia, they all told some stuff that they knew about you to Kendrick. It's not that hard for Drake to be walking around like his shit don't stink, for someone to come and tell some stuff about him that has been floating around in the industry for a while. And quiet as it's kept, I don't even think that people had to tell it. You was kind of putting your business out here, sliding up in Millie Bobby Brown DMs when she was underage. Was she like 14? And you was like in your late 20s, early 30s. I can't remember all the time I had what your age. Yeah, she married now. Yeah, she look about 55 years old, because I don't know what the hell that girl doing. And she like 21, 22 with the face and the body of an old lady. Because a lot of you girls out here doing all this kind of work on yourselves, trying to look literally. You supposed to be in your 20s living up your best life, but all y'all out here literally looking like Jane Fonda. And that's not no shade of Jane Fonda, because Jane is in her 80s and still look good. But the nips and tucks, that's warranted when you get older. When you in your 20s, y'all should just be leaving the nips and tucks when you get a little older and you want to change some things. Not when you're a child still, and not when your body is still developing. But anyway, so Drake was out here doing all these other alleged things and it was becoming privy. And plus, on top of that, when you talk about that you were taking money and all this other stuff, which is the accusations that you put off on Kendrick, those were the same accusations that people were saying about you and how you was getting pushed out here on, in regards of like your albums and your songs or whatever going viral and being successful, because you had that big push from UMG and stuff. So when you coming out here with these accusations, like you literally know for a fact that this is what they were doing to sabotage you because you called yourself one of their most prominent artists, that's got people looking into, well, so you benefited from the same schemes and stunts that you're accusing Kendrick of. How about the fact that people actually like the song? Like, things don't have to be a hit, because everything don't become a hit because it's been pushed by some label. That's the old school way about it. Sometimes people hear a song and be like, okay, this song slaps. And plus, with everybody else getting on social media and doing their little citations on it and speaking on it, that also helped the song get bigger. And so I feel like what he's pissed off about is that not only has the song taken on a life of its own, but I also think he's mad because I think Not Like Us has also affected him, his career, his mojo. He doesn't have like that feeling of like, oh, I'm on top. He still hasn't figured out how to recover from getting smacked down consistently, especially with the people trolling him. And then you just had at the Super Bowl, everybody saying the minor part all in unison, which was the ultimate shade. So he's probably still feeling the ways about that. And don't even get me started on that Anna Wintour, whatever the hell he called that stupid tour that he was doing in Australia. According to the people over in Australia, because I saw this video, shout out to Robert because he sent it to me and I did watch it before I did the show. So the people over in Australia was saying that them tickets for that tour that he was doing, where he went and canceled at the last minute because he had some sort of emergency, which was kind of find out was a BS. Because then I saw some other pictures where he was down in Toronto and somebody made a cake and everything was like "Welcome home, Drake" and all this other stuff. So he's back home living his best life. There was no damn emergency. I think that he was bleeding money. Them tickets wasn't selling. And one of the people over there was saying that, yeah, they don't get a lot of shows out in Australia and New Zealand. You know how long a flight is from the United States to New Zealand? That's literally a day you're on a freaking plane. I don't even know if connecting flights are involved, but getting to Australia from the United States or New Zealand, that is a long ass flight. So a lot of people don't want to be on a plane for a whole day trying to get over there just to do a show. So when people get over there and actually do shows, it's a privilege. They don't take it for granted. But I think also they said they're not about mincing words also. So he's been getting trolled over in Australia over the whole Kendrick Lamar beef situation and him with these lawsuits. You looking like a straight up clown. So I feel like this has hurt you even more. When you out here filing lawsuits, so you get into your kin side when you want to file lawsuits because somebody said a rap beef about you, but you ain't had that energy when it was Pusha T, but you got this energy when it's with Kendrick. So this whole situation is stupid. The reality, or some, according to the people over in Australia, and if you're over there, I'm going to take your word for it because you know what it's like over there. If the tickets ain't selling, if it's not doing what needs to be done, they said like the tickets was like $27 in America. That'd be the equivalent, like maybe you're paying 12, 13 bucks for a ticket. So yeah, the ticket sales have been dropped so to the point where it's like they just trying to get them shits away. And they're bleeding money because the people are not going to see him in the stadium. I feel like Drake, you are not a stadium artist. Maybe in certain areas you might be, but you're a rapper. You're very successful. You're popular, but you are not Beyonce. Like you are not somebody that can sell out a stadium. You're not Taylor Swift. Like that's not your wheelhouse. You should just be doing arenas, kept it cute, and kept it moving. But y'all be too all up in your own little heads. Y'all think y'all shit don't stink. You think you're larger than the bubble that in which you live in, and then the reality hits, y'all can't take it. So I'm gonna take the word over the people over in Australia that's saying it over anybody else. That's the same thing when I had to read somebody on TikTok, right? But these idiots had the nerve to get in my comments. Remember when we talked the other day about Katy Perry and the fact that her tickets are she's struggling to sell tickets in the United States for this Lifetime store. So I had people in my comments because clearly reading is fundamental. I don't know if it's like y'all don't pay attention or you just read a headline and don't actually listen to the words that's coming out of my mouth. But when I said it literally in the beginning, I said, I'm sure she will do successful overseas. However, in the United States, her tickets are not selling in those arenas, probably because in America, people don't care for her as much as they are in Europe. I think also it plays into in the United States, we're pretty spoiled when it comes to we get so many artists that perform here. So we have so many pickings in regards of who it is you want to see. Whereas you go to other countries, they don't get the amount of performers in other parts of the world like we do here. We're relatively spoiled in the United States. So in this case, people ain't trying to see Katy Perry like that. It's not with them Kids Bop songs. She's still singing at 40. It's like, no, it's not going to work. I said, in Europe, I'm sure it'll do fine. In America, no, it's not. She might as well do a residency because ain't nobody buying tickets to go see her in a certain, unless it's certain parts, like maybe in New York or in LA or Philly. Oh, I don't even know about Philly, but a DC, Chicago. Like if you do any of those type of areas, you did certain spots, yeah, that'd be cute. But you can't be Tennessee, North Carolina. She ain't selling that. New Orleans, she ain't selling them tickets there. Wisconsin, Minnesota, she not doing that. So reading is fundamental, but instead people want to get in my comments and talk about, well, her stuff is doing well overseas. I don't give a fuck about overseas. I'm not over there. I'm in the United States. I'm focusing on that. Just like them people in Australia was focusing on his ticket sales there, and we're talking about that. Stick to the rivers and the lakes that you used to. Stop trying to bring other things in to justify that you trying to be right in a situation that you're not right in. We're focusing on the United States, just like they was focusing on Australia. Drake tickets was not doing what needed to be done over there. That's why, he's dealing with that. Allegedly, he got a gambling problem, which I do believe, because he does gamble. Remember, he likes to gamble on sports teams, and people hate when he comes and be sitting front row at certain games because he's what do you call it? Like bad luck. We've seen that happen. When he be up in there in the court side rooting for certain teams and they always end up losing. Yeah, I'll be paying attention. So that's the latest on Drake. This is not over because, while his situation may be settled with iHeartMedia, we still have a ways to go to find out what's going on with him in Spotify and UMG and all that other stuff. So we'll definitely be keeping you guys with the rest of the story as it develops. But I definitely want to hear from you all. What do you guys think of this latest development on Drake? Also, if y'all have anybody, out in Australia, fan out, let me know if. Even though I told you, like, I saw this video of people out in Australia saying that was the reason why Drake's tour didn't do that well. And we already talked about it the other day when we said that somebody that actually worked one of the shows was spilling tea. So if you were there at the event or whatever the case was, and were them tickets really selling up in the stadiums? I don't think they probably were. But if they weren't, definitely let me know in the comments, among other things, regarding the story down below. He said MAGA people aren't ready for a female president. Well, they weren't ready for Obama either. They weren't ready for a black president either, right? And we got Obama. But according to some people, Obama is the reason why, his election is the reason why we got somebody like Trump. I said, hold on while I put on my chapstick. Anyway, but you could be on something. That's why I hate sometimes. When you put on chapstick and you end up putting on too much. Anyway, okay. All right, y'all. So now let's move on. Let's talk about Wendy Williams. How you doing? So Wendy Williams did another interview, and she's still speaking out on how she is settling in or not settling in and dealing with, living in this $18,000 a month living facility. I was like, damn, it's $18K. I was not realizing, like, that's a lot of money we spending on a living facility. So now, while appearing on the February 27th broadcast of News Nation's Banfield, the former talk show host, who's 60, provided an update on how she was faring in her assisted living facility amid her ongoing battle to end her conservatorship. Saying, well, I don't have the freedom to do virtually anything. This is what she said of her situation. As far as where I am, I'm on the 5th floor. They call it the memory unit. So it's for people who don't remember anything. I met the people who live here, and I've been here for almost a year now, and it's very suffocating. Now, the former Wendy Williams show personality explained that the type of patients who stay in the memory unit need various pills or other forms of medication. She says they are unable to use the shower by themselves and have difficulty brushing their teeth. Now, it's the memory unit. You know what I mean? Why am I here? I have no idea, but I can tell you that it's $18K a month, which is extremely expensive. And what do I have? I have a bedroom and a bathroom and a window. Yeah, because I'm like, child, if all I get is a bedroom, a way that I can go to the bathroom, and I got a window and my TV, what the hell is that $18,000? Am I paying for the room and everybody's salary that works in the building? Because $18K a month is crazy to be in some type of a unit. But, this is America for you, where you just, the land of the free and the home of the bleeding people dry financially. But also, Wendy, maybe the reason why you are in the memory unit, well, according to the report, and we talked about it on the show, that you had freedom to be going out and about. The problem was they had to move you to another floor where it was a little more control because you took it upon yourself, allegedly, according to the story, according to the report, that you went up to the restaurant at the top of the building to get lit. Which, if she was in this type of facility, why were they even serving her to begin with if she was living in the building? So that was the bartender and them should have been up on that and paying attention. But yeah, so that's allegedly the reason why she was moved to a new room on a floor where you actually need a key to use the elevator. So she said, it's about being in this building. I have been in the ward for over 3 years. It's a long time. I'm ready to get out of here. I'm ready to get out and get out of the guardianship. It's suffocating. It's very lonely, which is something that she's been, you know, saying since she was caught up in this system. Now, this isn't the first time, as you know, when Williams is open about her living conditions. You know, she spoke to a lot of people on this. First, it was the Breakfast Club with Charlemagne and them. Then she went and spoke with Don Lemon. Then she went and spoke with Jason Lee. Then she went and spoke with TMZ. And TMZ wound up doing a whole 1 hour special that you could watch over on Tubi if you have not watched it yet. It was really eye-opening. It was very entertaining and interesting. And it broke my heart watching Wendy in this position. So she definitely needs to get out. And then on top of that, the other day, the last episode we did, we heard from Suzanne, the producer, you know, her former producer over at the Wendy Williams show, who gave an update on Wendy's condition and how they spoke and all this other stuff. And now she's speaking with News Nation. I don't particularly like News Nation and what they stand for politically and a lot of the type of topics they talk about. They kind of lean very much like Fox News and in the buffoonery they put on their channel. However, I guess because maybe Wendy knows somebody over there, she's getting her story out there. And I really hope at this point that, you know what, she can get out of this, because I'm like, look, she needs to be around people who genuinely care about her, let her live her life, but also have somebody who can keep an eye on her, make sure that she stays on the straight and narrow, she stays off the alcohol, that you have somebody who can help her out with her finances and make sure that she's on the up and up and not being taken advantage of financially and dealing with all her other affairs. Help her with that. But she doesn't need to be kept as a damn prisoner in a facility where she is way more of sound mind than a lot of the other people that she's in the same ward with. So, Sabrina, you did say that you was going to have her get checked to see if she has frontal temporal dementia and aphasia. You said you was going to check and have all that done. So, when's the appointment? When's she about to go forth with all of this so that way she can get out of this um, situation that she's in? So now, after Williams denied that she was incapacitated on the Breakfast Club, Sabrina requested a new medical evaluation. That's what I was just talking about now. On February 27th, as we mentioned before, Suzanne Bass, a television producer who worked with Williams on her long-running talk show, shared her support for Williams and called for the end of her conservatorship, saying, I hadn't heard from Wendy in years until last week my phone rang and it was Wendy. I cried, she cried. She sounds fantastic. She sounds the best she's ever sounded in years. I've been learning every day since then more and more about her story, what she's been through, what she's going through, this horrible guardianship she's in. And so we have hashtag free Wendy. And here's the thing. If y'all go free Brittany, and Brittany's still out there with the raccoon eyes, that smeared ass makeup, that disheveled weave, and twirling in that foyer in them Gerber baby panties and them horrible ass shoes and the little bra, doing the same pop, dip, and spin, then y'all can free Wendy and let her do what she need to do with herself. And if whatever happens at that point, if she gets taken advantage of whatever the case is, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But at this point, Wendy needs to be free. Wendy don't need to be in this situation. These people are taking advantage of her. These people are bleeding her dry, and she don't need to be in the same facility with those people. Now, do I think that she needs some people in place that will help her stay on the up and up and on the straight and narrow and get, the care that she needs? Sure. And I'm sure that with her money, she can pay for all of that. But she should have the freedom to make the decisions that she needs to make, especially when we clearly see she's not in the same level of these people that y'all got her in this facility with. So that's all I got to say on that right now. I don't have nothing else to add to the whole Wendy Williams thing, because every time we talk about her, it's the same story. She goes on to different shows and talks about the conditions that she's been under and all the other stuff. So there's nothing else for me to add to it, except I want to hear from you all. What do you think of this story? So whatever your thoughts are on this, let me know in the comments down below. Yeah, I know Obama was before MAGA, but I'm saying, like, they're trying to say that Trump and MAGA is the cause of why we are where we are, because a lot of people didn't like the fact that Obama was the president of the United States, that they had to listen to a black man and all this other stuff. So, but that's what the people wanted at the time. Yes, free one day. Poor child, you know I had to bring in Brittany with them panties. He said, I got asked in an email if I'm willing to participate in a documentary on Candace Owens, why we can't trust her rebrand as a celebrity investigative influencer. They saw my post saying we shouldn't trust the rebrand is to get more views. Well, I say do it. When her YouTube channel got monetized again on her politics on Rumble. Well, let's speak on it. Well, yeah, this channel's monetized. Well, damn, speaking of which, I need to go look at my analytics and see how much I'm getting paid this month for the E2. But anyway, where we going with the rest of the show? Okay. Yep, let's get into this Tyra Banks story. So Tyra has been making the rounds. And one of my favorite shows growing up was America's Next Top Model. Wanna be on top? That was my show. And even I just saw recently that I think on Peacock you could actually watch the entire series again. I was thinking about actually getting back into watching America's Next Top Model. Just like I'll be sitting up in here watching RuPaul's Drag Race ad nauseum, that and the All Stars. I was thinking about revisiting America's Next Top Model just to kind of like remember what it was like to watch the show back in the day because it's been so long. But I love the fact that recently Miss T went and she's breaking her silence about all the backlash that the show has gotten over the years because a lot of people said that, with the 24 cycles that the show had, that there was a lot of things on the show that was just unconscionable and that should have been going on. But what I will say this, and I'm going to defend Tyra on this, I do feel like a lot of the stuff that was going on in the modeling industry, especially about people's bodies and the way they would treat people like with full figureness or whatever the case was, or how they would judge you on certain looks and stuff you had, that's the business. I was just giving you a reflection of how the modeling industry is towards people. You're going to be judged on your figure. You're going to be judged on your features. You're going to be judged. That's what they do. And I know people get all sensitive and they feel a little harsh about it, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. That's just the way the business is. But yeah, with it being a reality competition series, yes, it was heightened because it's TV. But for the most part, the foundation of it all, the core of it, is very much how the modeling industry is. So now, while accepting her first ever Luminary Spotlight honor at the Essence Black Women in Hollywood Awards on Thursday, February 27th, Banks, 51, addressed America's Next Top Model and its early push for diversity on screen amid reports about toxicity on set. She said over 20 years ago, she was like 31 when she created that? I'm like, damn, that was a long time ago. I didn't think she was that young, though. But anyway, over 20 years ago, I created a television show called America's Next Top Model, she began. And you guys have no idea how hard we fought to bring the diversity to that TV show at a time when it didn't exist. To show different beauties at a time when the world was like, what? You casted that? And what? What is that? A time when people in the fashion industry were telling me you putting the girls from the hood on your show. I was like, why can't the girl from the trailer park become a supermodel, but the girl that's chilling in the hood can't? And we fought and we struggled and we made it happen. She continued, did we get it right? Hell no. I said some dumb shit, but I refuse to have my legacy be about some stuff linked together on the internet when there were 24 cycles of changing the world. We all evolved. We all get better together. And I'm so excited that I and so many of us have opened the door for others to follow. And you want to know something? She's absolutely right. So while everybody's running around here, oh, this is wrong, and they should have been doing this and that. I said, well, guess what? Then you create your own goddamn show. It's easy for somebody to just get on something, watch something, not understand the context of what it was at the time. And this is another thing that irritates me too. If you wasn't of the time that when America's Next Top Model was popping on TV, then you should not be up in here trying to give a 2025 citation on something that came out in 2003. I was going to say 2005, so that way it can match with 2025. But you can't be coming up here and trying to put the involvement of your brain in today on how something was back then. And like she said, did we always get it right? No, we didn't get it right all the time. But at the time, we were creating something inspirational. We were creating something revolutionary. And I fought tooth and nail to have diverse girls up there trying out for this show. So any girl from any part of the world of the United States could come on America's Next Top Model and become a huge, hit. regardless of or become a model, regardless of what some other girls have said on the show. And you know what? Everybody has a right to come on, like Lisa D'Amato and all of them. Y'all have a right to feel how y'all felt about what it was like being on America's Next Top Model. Speak out on your stuff. Go ahead and do what you need to do. Nobody's discounting that. But at the core of it all, I appreciate the fact that Tyra created this show and created an opportunity to have so many diverse faces come on this show and all the crazy challenges and stuff that they had. And yeah, the girls was I mean, you know, the judge was a bit harsh. You know, I love me some Miss J. I love Mr. J. You know, she was a bit problematic. Could you imagine if if Janice Dickinson was saying all the stuff that she was saying back then today? Oh, they would eat her alive, but she wouldn't care. The world's first supermodel, as she claimed. I actually thought she was the best part of that show. I was living for Janice Dickinson when she was on the show. So, yeah, that's what she said. But hold on. And I was like, Tyra look good. The boobs is boobing. Come on, titty pop. But let's see what else. So yeah, and then she did create other doors. Because remember, if it wasn't for America's Next Top Model, there would be no RuPaul's Drag Race. Because RuPaul's Drag Race is one part America's Next Top Model, one part Project Runway, but with drag queens and all the other channels. So it's a hybrid of a lot of those type of shows. So yeah, America's Next Top Model opened the door for many other shows to follow. And look, if we didn't have Next Top Model, would they have ever come up with that show, The Face, with Naomi Campbell? I don't think so. So now Banks, who created the model competition show in 2003 and hosted all but one cycle until this end. Wait, what was the season? I forget who the host was that did her that hosted when she wasn't there. And it said, and now my 51-year-old dimpled cellulite covered bigger tummy with 10 million and 10 million times bigger titties. Oh yeah, because she said she addressed the show's visibility for plus size models. Because if it wasn't for that show, we would have never seen a Takara. And Takara, I lived for Takara when she was on the show. And she said, and now my 51-year-old dimpled cellulite covered bigger tummy and 10 million times bigger titties is walking through that door that I opened with all of us behind us on that runway saying, baby, it's just the beginning. She concluded with rapturous applause. Now, Banks's speech comes as resurfaced clips from America's Next Top Model continue to make the rounds on social media. Now, in 2020, controversial moments from the show began to pop up on TikTok and beyond, prompting a wave of negative feedback directed at both Banks and the show's creative team. In one of the clips that circulated online, Banks criticized Cycle 6 winner Danny Evans for not closing the gap in her teeth, which, here's the thing. Now, while in some spaces it was kind of applauded if you would come out and there was like, I always liked when there were some that were very much accepting and really pushing for the uniqueness in some girls. Whereas I guess in American Style Time, I was like, no, you got to close your gap. Or what some people would say was the ultimate shade when y'all would have to come in and makeover day where they cutting your hair, they make you do all these other looks only for y'all to get eliminated in the same day. So you got to go home with that hack job that they did on your hair. And you didn't even make the show. You didn't even continue to be on the show. So I remember those were also the complaints. So she went on and said, so Danielle, you went to the dentist, but you refused to have your gap closed. This is what she said on video. Do you really think you can have a CoverGirl contract with a gap in your mouth? One of the ANTM prizes was a $100,000 contract with a cosmetics brand. Well, yes. Tell that to Lauren Hutton and Lauren Bacall. They had gaps in their teeth. And there's plenty of models out here who have gaps in all kinds of things and were successful. Cindy Crawford had a whole mole on the side of her face and became a supermodel. No shade, Tyra, I live for you, but you was never that girl. You were never a supermodel, but Cindy was. You were a Victoria's Secret girl. You had the reality show, but, you know, you were never that girl in that way. But you were famous in your own right in the modeling world. And it's no shade. I'm just saying. So now Evans, now 39, responded, yes, why not? To which Banks replied, this is all people see. It's easy breezy, beautiful CoverGirl. It's not marketable. Well, that's not true. Well, maybe it was for CoverGirl, but in other brands, people have a gap in their teeth. It helps you stand out. As a model, you want to stand out. Evans did get her gap partially closed during the show and was later crowned the winner of the season. Child, I would have took that shit back out. I don't even know if you can. I don't know how that works. I'm not a dentist, but I'm like, can you get that gap? Can you get your that partial closation situation put back, or is that permanent? Now, in another clip, contestants had their skin darkened for a biracial. Now, this was a mess, and I think Jay Manuel talked about this one in an interview. They had their skin darkened for a biracial themed photo shoot in Cycle 13, and in Cycle 4, contestant Kaylin Rondot was asked to pose in a coffin in a graveyard one day after her friend died. Ooh, y'all messy. Now, Banks later accepted the callouts, posting via Twitter in May of 2020. Been seeing the posts about the insensitivity of some past ANTM moments, and I agree with you. Looking back, those were some really off choices. Appreciate your honest feedback, and I'm sending so much love and virtual hugs. Now, during a January 2025 interview on the Wildfires podcast, ANTM Cycle 6 Season 16, Cycle 16 runner-up. Jeez, I can't talk. Let me try that again. ANTM Cycle 16 runner-up and current Southern Charm star. Oh, I didn't even know she was on there. I don't watch Southern Charms. I don't know. Molly O'Connell called the modeling series a bit of psychological torture. Well, welcome to reality TV, where it's all psychological torture, and I wouldn't be surprised if Bravo was putting you into some psychological torture as well. Now, O'Connell, 37, alleged that the production team would purposely mess with us and heighten everyone's emotions with really late interviews, saying I would get low blood sugar attacks and need food, and they would dangle a sandwich in front of me. Just a few more questions, Molly, and then we'll feed you, she told host Nick Vile on her time filming back in 2010. It was so toxic. Well, yeah, I could remember hearing that those producers were trash and a lot of the things that they was doing at that time. So I wouldn't be surprised that the producers was giving them hell. But as we know, and I actually like the fact that Tyra acknowledged the fact that some of the challenges that I don't know if it was production or her, it was a joint situation, and that the production was like, we have an idea, and she said yay or nay. But I'm sure there's a team of people that come up with concepts. Do we always get it right? That's like with any other show. It's like they're not always going to get it right. And I'm glad she acknowledged that because, yeah, the biracial theme thing, I was like, no, that's a chop. And then the whole coffin thing, I mean, that's cute in theory. We're doing a coffin photo shoot. Like, that's cute. But if my friend literally died, I'm like, oh, no, y'all need to scrap this. But then that probably came from the producers knowing about it. They came up with this concept, and to be shady, they decided, oh, yeah, let's just create this concept to try to mess with this girl's head to get a reaction out of her. Kind of like how y'all always complain about how RuPaul's Drag Race in time. Well, I complain too. Feels a little overproduced in certain situations. Like when we talk about the Drag Race, how that the lip sync for your life felt a little produced. But we'll get to that in a second once I'm done with all the other topics. But yeah, it kind of feels like the producers come up with this stuff, and then they do a lot of this to get under your skin and evoke emotion for reality purposes because they want to see how you're going to react in those situations. Can you persevere knowing full and well that, okay, one of my friends died, so can you persevere through this and possibly perform? So, now they said, even with the bad, O'Connell said AMTM was very fun and she had a lot of amazing experiences that helped her career. She said, I would still do it again. It wasn't so horrible that I wouldn't do that experience all over again. So she said that, yeah, even after everything that I went through, I'd still do America's Next Top Model. It's like, whenever you do things in life, I mean, everything, I always say, like, whatever I've done in life or whatever, I have no regrets. There's always going to be good things you take out of it. There's always going to be bad experiences you take out of it. But overall, it's an experience nevertheless. And I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for that show. I just take what I took from it as a learning lesson, the good, the bad, and everything else that comes in between. So, like I said, I think what I'm going to start doing, because I have been kind of feeling nostalgic lately, in addition to me re-watching, shit, I can't talk. In addition to me rewatching New York Undercover, and I've also been watching Living Single again and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I might have to throw on some and RuPaul's Drag Race. I may have to throw on America's Next Top Model. I've been thinking about revisiting that show because that was a good, like, regardless of what a lot of people say on social media, it was a good show. And it was definitely revolutionary. I was even thinking of rewatching old episodes of Project Rumble. Yeah, I'm in my nostalgia bag. So I definitely want to hear from you guys. What do you think about this story in regards to what Tyra had to say about America's Next Top Model? Do you guys agree or not? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. I was like, where we at? Oh yeah, they do have a lot of seasons. That's why I was like, I might as well get in the Hulu. And look, I don't pay for commercials, so I can sit and watch all of it. I've talked to a few girls who was, yeah, I remember that. You told Lisa, Angela, Tiffany, we were rooting for you, and Brittany from season 8. She didn't have an actual plus size girl until season 5. Well, I was always like the one that always stood out for me was Takara. Oh yeah, that was right. Takara was the first actual plus. Yeah, that's what I said. Takara was the first plus size. I knew. I was like, wait. I could have sworn it was Takara, but like you said, it was like, I'm right. But yeah, and that's another thing too. Takara does have a career. Yeah, that biracial thing was a mess. I'm like, are y'all serious? How do you even do that? I may have to, yeah, I don't even remember that episode, but J. Cole from season 6 is it's funny. I was thinking J. Cole, like the rapper. It's funny they mentioned a gap, but then they had a girl on season 15 where they gave her a gap. Yeah, that's what was the weird one. So gap is not sellable. I just think they just wanted to mess with her to tell her to close her gap because they just wanted to fuck with her and see if she was going to do it. But I'm like, gaps are sellable. There's many models out here that have a gap in their teeth. Tyra has a track record of aligning herself with trash TV producers. That talk show of her. Oh, please don't even get me started on that talk show. I didn't even like her talk show. I really didn't watch it like that. She was trying to be Ricky Lake so bad. I was like, I never really got into that show. And I did watch a couple of episodes, especially the one she did with Naomi Campbell. But I was never really big on the Tyra Banks talk show. I remember when Tyra had Beyonce on there, and then when Solange put out her first album, she had on. Oh yeah, I remember the Beyonce interview. She was so annoying with that. Gaga's fired choreographer Richie over me to drag. What? Gaga's fired choreographer Richie over Me Too, drag MasterCard Gaga and her current team over taking all his moves and reusing it, calling it brand new. Child? Come on, thief Gaga. Oh, hold on. As a choreographer, like many others, I put my heart and soul into every move and movement and moment I create. I'm sure you all did the same at MasterCard with Lady Gaga and Paris Goebel while creating the Abracadabra commercial video and contest. What I'm trying to understand is how did my actual steps and movements end up in the choreography for MasterCard? These steps and moments come from Bad Romance, Bloody Mary, Hair, Poker Face, Alejandro, and You and I, choreography I created years ago. Please compare the video of Abracadabra with what I have already done. Well, before I finish on with this post, I could have sworn a lot of people was jumping in and saying that Gaga, like a lot of the choreography and stuff, it was very reminiscent. Even the video and stuff was very reminiscent of past videos that she's done. There was no consent, no compensation, and no credit, especially credit, because now, Paris, you can add the same steps from my reel to your reel as if you created them. There was no ill will, no drama, and no shade. Well, this is all tea, all shade. What you talking about, Richie? But I'm here for it. Let's continue. Where am I? Oh, they said there's no ill will, no drama, and no shade. I would just like to understand how my choreography ended up in this piece. I'm open to talking or DMing if you like to discuss. I know this choreography could not have been created from scratch. This is what I'm trying to figure out. Moving forward, I ask that if Abracadabra is performed live, please remove my choreography and create something new and magical in its place. And for future projects, please know that the Gaga aesthetic is my aesthetic, my movement, born from my mind and body. I encourage you to create something that looks nothing like what I would have done. People keep asking me if I choreographed this, and I want them to know that you did because I know you have your own style and approach. Child. Come on, thief. Y'all just out here, the thieves be thieving. Well, I'm definitely gonna keep abreast of this story as it develops. Oh my god, my jaw is working my root canal nerve. Well, why I keep sending out all this stuff? Yeah, so um yeah, I'm gonna definitely keep you guys abreast of this story as it develops. So because I'm sure that there's going to be more coming out about this, but I'm like, child, oh, that's a good one. So I'm gonna hold on to that. I'm gonna post that in my comments. Just, I mean, not well, I'm gonna post it on my page later on when we're done with the show, just so we could see what people gotta say about this whole situation. And I know people are not going to try to drag him because of him coming out and saying this, because maybe that's his only way that he can get spoken to, because of, like, if I'm DMing and y'all ignore me, then I'm gonna make the shit public. That's usually what a lot of people do, and that's, I guess, the blessing and the curse about social media is the fact that if I'm gonna have my accusations ignored because this choreography looks like stuff that I've done before, but you just, you know, throw in a couple of other things. The coffin photo shoot was for the Devon Sedley Sins. Kaylin was Wrath. It overshadows Abracadabra Dance Moves. Netflix has 2 seasons of Project Runway. I think Project Runway also is on Hulu and all that stuff. I have to look and see. So I think they're all over the place. Actually, I think she asked Beyonce about foreign. I just saw this interview on N, which is like the Canadian. I think it's like a gay blog or something, or like a website where they talk about entertainment news and stuff. And they interviewed Jonte Monin, who I absolutely love his choreography. And, he worked with Beyonce on B-Day and a lot of the stuff from there. And he also worked with her on the Renaissance tour, and was talking about how, Beyonce respected him because, well, how they first met was this was during the era of Destiny's Child, and he was behind her, whatever. He complimented her on her Nikes, and then they, I guess, started conversing, whatever. And then he said that somebody that worked on Beyonce's team, who was a dancer, had shown her his videos and was like, "This is somebody you need to hit up and pay attention to." And she brought him in. He was teaching her like dance moves or whatever. And when certain things, she would say, "Oh, I can't slink in that chair because my hips is too big." He said, "Well, you better figure it out." Or then when they was doing the video for Freakum Dress, and he was saying, "Well, you need to lick your lips a certain way." And Tina was coming in and saying something, and you're not gonna have her licking her lips. Like, he said, "Well, honey, you got a whole bunch of dresses you need to make for Freakum Dress that haven't been made yet. You focus on the fashions. I focus on what I do over here, which is the choreography." And I was living for it. He said Beyonce respected him because he wasn't a yes person. So that was a cute interview. And I've always liked John Tay because, child, let me tell you, I remember John Tay back in the day, the Mr. Black, and a lot of those type of parties that we used to have in New York with Suzanne Barsh and all of those. And how you would see like Boy George and Grace Jones and all of them, they would be at certain establishments in the city. Oh my God, Mr. Black was such an iconic party. I miss that. We had some good parties back in the 2000s. But anyway, those were like that was my club kid days. As in, I was going to, I was hanging with the club kids, not me being in the club being a kid. Club kid, the culture. Like what's her name? Vivacious, like very that. I was a little too young to be a part of the whole club kid culture with Michael Alec, even though I knew people who knew him. But the parties that happened later on that I got to be a part of. I was so upset that but I was like, yeah, I was way too young to be going to the whole party monster type, that whole era. I said, just more proof that God show. No, well, look, people have been talking about it for. I told you, I know people who have been sounding this alarm for years. I listen. I'm entertained by it all, but when I say stuff, I'm a hater. So apparently I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so where we going? Oh, let's get into our next story. And let's talk about Porsha Williams, who is speaking out about her estranged husband, Sana Guobadia. She went further in because we did mention it the other day when he got held up by ICE, and she put out a statement on her Instagram and all this other stuff. But now she is spilling more tea about his current situation. So Williams' estranged husband Guobadia filed an emergency motion in their ugly divorce, pleading for an important hearing to be pushed due to him being detained by ICE. In Touch can exclusively report. Now, according to court documents obtained by In Touch, Simon's legal team filed the motion on Tuesday, February 25th, days after the businessman was taken into custody by immigration officials. Now, Simon, who's 60, has been trying to become a U.S. citizen for years. His latest attempt was shut down last month, according to reports. Now, he's currently at the Stewart Detention Center in Lumpkin, Georgia, 2 hours outside of Atlanta, according to his lawyer. Well, the thing was, maybe the reason why um you can't become a U.S. citizen because you got lumped up in some white collar fraud back in the 90s. So maybe that's the reason why you're not getting to be a part of this country. And I don't think he ever will. They probably about to ship his behind back to what part of Africa is he from? I forgot. You know, probably the damn. What was it? The land of where a lot of you scammers be coming from. So in the motion, Simon's lawyer pleaded for a scheduled hearing where Simon was to fight the enforcement of the prenup agreement the exes signed be postponed until he was released from ICE. Now, the motion asked for the hearing to be pushed to a later date. It says Simon is released from ICE custody to give him an opportunity to adequately prepare for court, participate in his own divorce, and attend court proceedings. Well, can't somebody just slide him the divorce papers in while he's being detained and just tell him to sign here, and ship it back to Porsha so y'all can be officially done with each other? Because if he gets shipped outside the United States and you don't never get them papers signed, then you're going to be stuck with that man for the rest of your life. So the motion asked for the hearing to be pushed to a later date. Simon's lawyer argued and said the motion to enforce a prenup agreement is a substantive. I cannot speak. I can't say this word apparently. Motion that requires findings of fact by this court. The outcome from the motion will also have a substantial effect on how the remainder of the divorce case proceeds, as it may be dispositive of some of the issues that result in litigation on others. Now, Porsha was 43, filed an objection to Simon's emergency motion. She claimed he had delayed the hearing from being held for weeks before his detention. Her lawyer argued Simon seeks relief from the very in-person hearing he demanded, claiming inconvenience and unavailability. Husband's attempt to avoid the consequences of his own request is disingenuous and a continuation of his pattern of delay tactics throughout the litigation. But for Simon's specific request for an in-person hearing, the matter would have proceeded via Zoom, thereby eliminating his current objections. Husband is solely responsible for the in-person setting of the hearing, and his emergency motion for continuance is merely an attempt to evade his own strategic choice. Porsha argued that Simon did not need to be at the hearing, saying husband's physical presence is not required for the adjudication of these issues. Why are you referring to him as husband? Husband has been continuously represented by legal counsel throughout this action, and his presence at the hearing is not a legal prerequisite under Georgia law. That's what I was kind of agreeing with too. That's why I said, like, when it came down to it, you can't just get him the divorce papers, go down to ICE, slide it up under the thing, tell him to sign here and there, and then ship it back to her and y'all officially divorced. You don't really need to be physically present in order for me to get a divorce. But this is what happens when a lot of you girls out in Atlanta be out here trying to marry Joanne the scammer, thinking that y'all moving on up to the east side, coming to find out that you done marry yourself a white collar criminal. They all floating around Atlanta, allegedly. Now, I was like, where am I? Okay, so now it said the reality star slammed her ex. Her attorney wrote further, Georgia law does not confer any absolute right for Simon to attend hearings, and even if such a right existed, it would be considered waived when Simon's unavailability is due to his own deliberate actions, including, upon information and belief, his multiple attempts to illegally enter and remain in the United States, which resulted in his most recent detention. Granting a continuance under these circumstances will unfairly reward Simon for the consequence of his own actions. Porsha claims Simon has known about his immigration issues for some time. Of course he has. Because he came here on a visa and never left. His lawyer noted, or her lawyer noted, sorry, husband's detention by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is the direct result of his attempt to illegally enter the United States. His detention is a foreseeable legal consequence of these actions and of his actions, and not an act of divine intervention as claimed. Wife has vocalized her concerns about husband's questionable immigration status throughout his litigation, and husband was fully aware of his long-standing immigration challenges, including multiple denials of his citizenship request. Given this history, husband should have foreseen the possibility of detention and is solely responsible for the consequence of his own actions. And that's another thing too. You was out here playing Russian roulette with your life in regards to knowing full on well you're not legal and was trying to find ways to just every time you flying in and out of the country, there should have been a bigger chance that you're going to come into this country and get caught. And when we got this current administration that's cracking down on all immigrants, except, if you from England or Ireland or whatever the case, if you a white immigrant, you're good. Anybody that's brown or whatever, it seemed like y'all just get free reign. So we already know the type of people that this administration is going after. But as far as I know, as of yet, or as of now, I should say, the court document does not show whether or not the judge ruled on the request to postpone the hearing. I don't think, honestly, the hearing needs to be postponed. I just think at this point that in this situation, if Porsha wants a divorce, give her the divorce. Let her move on. She's already moved on. She don't want to be around that man no more. And you ain't getting out of ice because they're about to ship your ass back outside the country. You're going back to Africa and you're going to have to figure out how to make it work where you at. And so slide him the papers, let him sign it and let him take his new body and his new teeth, ship him back to where he came from. Because Simon is a mess. So the stunts, we done with the stunt queendom of it all. And Simon been pulling stunts long before he got his ass caught up in ice. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story and the latest development on Simon and Porsha's divorce situation, where he's trying to find any little tactic to slither his way out of this whole this ice, situation? So whatever your thoughts are on this ordeal, let me know in the comments down below. Oh, thank you. It was Nigeria. I don't know why I couldn't think about I don't know why Nigeria didn't pop in my brain when we were talking about this. Oh, Tyra, but did you see the spoilers of season 3 of Euphoria? The whole plot is getting leaked. The same thing happened with Stranger Things season 5. Oh yeah, funny enough, I actually did not see the spoilers for season 3. I've kind of been avoiding them, and I also been avoiding the Stranger Things spoilers. But it's funny, and you brought up Stranger Things. In the New York City subways, they already got the posters up for Stranger Things, so it's coming. I don't know when, probably by this summer, we should be getting the new episodes. But yeah, they already got the advertisement. They didn't say when the new season's going to drop. They just said coming soon. And they got like the Necronomicon or whatever the fuck, the Demogorgon. I said Necronomicon. That's Evil Dead. The Demogorgon, it looked like it's coming out of somebody's mouth or whatever the case is. And like this big spider shadow leggy thing. So I've been saying that the ads look cool though, but I'm just like, can we just get this over with? Because y'all been having us wait damn near 5 years for a new season of Stranger Things, and it's probably gonna be freaking 8 episodes. $5 million for a citizenship. Why so expensive? I didn't see them either, but I heard someone say if you didn't like The Idol, you probably won't. Well, I didn't like The Idol, but I'll probably just watch season 3 just because it's the final season. But we'll see how it all turns out. But anyway, all right. Okay, y'all. So we have about 3 more topics left until the end of today's show. So if you can, please do me a solid, hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll also be putting timestamps throughout the show once the live stream is over. So that way, if you want to just skip through all the banter that we do throughout the show, you can just skip right to whatever topics that we have on hand, and you can just get right to those and hear me run my mouth about the latest celebrity news, gossip, entertainment news. So now, without further ado, let's talk about my girl Angie Stone, who I gagged when I had found out that I saw the post and stuff online. It was like Angie Stone died. I'm like, what? And this was on Saturday, I believe that happened. I was Oh yeah, I was working at the time. There was a college game. Oh, it was St. John's who won their season of, college like regular college basketball. We have the March Madness and stuff coming up next week. So that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, I was busy at the game, and then on my way home, I was checking my messages. So and online, and it say Angie Stone died. I'm like, what? And I live for maybe y'all don't know, but I was a huge back in the day, a dirty backpack click fan. That was like I would listen to the Roots, I would listen to Erykah Badu, I would listen to Vivian Green, I was listening to Angie Stone and oh my God, that's what Jill Scott. Like I was listening to a lot of that music back in the day. So I was very much in deep with listening to a lot of that music back in the day. And I was living for a lot of Angie Stone's music. Even when she did they did remixes of her songs, like house remixes, like you had Hex Hector and Thunderpuss, they would go and do remixes for the gay clubs for a lot of her music. And the voice was everything. And I did see that Hex Hector did put out a post on his social media where he was like, it was very rare because he had her come in and re-record her vocals on a remix that he was working on. And he said she did it in one take. And he said, yeah, that's rare. Like a lot of people don't do it in one take, but Angie had one of those voices that is just iconic. And my song, Our Sunshine Has Come, and I'm all cried out, so there's no more rain in this cloud. My sunshine has come, my sunshine. I said, yes, bitch, that was my song. And then come to find out, like, she wrote a lot of songs for D'Angelo, who's her baby father, by the way. And I live for I Want Some of Your Brown Sugar. And that was my song too. I live for D'Angelo. I forgot to add him to the damn docket. So yeah, besides How Does It Feel, I was a big D'Angelo fan too. And yeah, they have a child together. But anyway, she was 63 years old. She died in a car crash. And this is according to the late star's representative. So now with a career in music that spanned the late 70s through her sudden passing, Stone topped both the top R&B hip hop albums and adult R&B airplay charts that was nominated for 3 Grammy Awards. Saying unfortunately at around 4 a.m. while heading back to Atlanta from Alabama, the Sprinter flipped over and was subsequently hit by a big rig. Thankfully, all survived except for Angie. This is according to Walter Millsap, president of Conjunction Entertainment, said in a statement obtained by Billboard Saturday afternoon. Now, Stone was on the lineup for the Mardi Gras Association Grand Marshal Ball in Mobile, Alabama on Friday, February 28th, saying, my mommy's gone, former Lady Diamond, Angie's daughter, with Rodney Stone, wrote in a Facebook post on Saturday. Stone is also survived by her son with singer Michael D'Angelo Archer II, who goes by the stage name Swavo Twain. And then he also said, born Angela Laverne Brown on December 18, 1961 in Columbia, South Carolina, Stone's career in music began with female rap trio The Sequence, known for their single Funk You Up that reached number 15 on the Billboard Hot R&B Hip Hop Songs chart in 1980. 5 of Stone's albums as a solo singer reached the top 10 on the top R&B Hip Hop Albums chart. She saw her set The Art of Love and War rise to number 1 in 2007, while Dream made it to number 3 in 2015. Mahogany Soul and Stone Love both reached number 4 in 2001 and 2004, respectively, and Black Diamond charted at number 9. Now, here's the thing. Now, she's been making music since the 80s, right? And her career didn't pop off until the 2000s. So when people go around saying that you got to be 20, 19, 14 in order to have a career, no, that's some bullshit. This is why I always say, like, if you feel it in your spirit that you have the talent and the wherewithal to make music or to make an album, whatever, do it at any age. Nobody ever said that you have to be a certain age in order to have success or to make music. Because, like I said, now I'm going to sit here and try to do the math on the top of my head. Now, if well, I wouldn't know how much it was. She had to be in what in her, if it was like the 2000s, and she was 63. She had to be like in her late 30s, pushing 40 when her career finally took off. So when people go around saying, like I said, that you got to be 22 years old for your career to pop off. That's some BS. It always get, depending on the situation, your time will come when it comes. It gets greater later. And clearly it did for Angie, because she's been going at it for such a long time. But her career didn't hit big until, like I said, she was like well into her 30s, pushing 40. Because if she's 63 in the 2020s, then it was like, yeah, in that time, she was a lot older. Now they said Stone has 6 top 10 hits on the adult R&B airplay chart, including 2 number ones: "No More Rain in This Cloud," which came out in '99, "Baby" in 2007, and 4 other top 10s were "I Wish I Didn't Miss You," which is a cover, "Brother," "Black Brother," "Brown Brother." I did love that song too. And "More Than a Woman." I love that song too. That came out number 4 in 2002, and "Sometimes," which hit number 7 in 2008. Now, "No More Rain in This Cloud" also reached the top 10 on the Hot R&B Hip Hop Songs chart, on which it peaked at number 9 in 2000. Saying, though Stone never won a Grammy, see, now, didn't we talk about that earlier? That people, just because you won a Grammy don't necessarily mean that that should be the level of success, because she was iconic and she was definitely a force to be reckoned with in the music business. She never won a Grammy. She did receive nods for Best R&B Performance by a Duo Group with Vocals for "More Than a Woman" with Joe in 2003, Best Female R&B Vocal Performance for U-Haul in 2004, and Best R&B Performance by a Duo Group with Vocals for "Baby" with Betty Wright. I love me some Betty Wright too, in 2008. Stone was the founder of national nonprofit Angel Stripes, with the goal of facilitating artistry and neighborliness in communities. Memorial service details will be announced by Stone's family members, who at this time request privacy. So, yes, I definitely want to come on here and give Angie her flowers. In addition, like y'all know, I am a dance, music connoisseur. I love my house music. I love all this. So I am a house head. However, I like all types of other music too. And soul music definitely began me my life. So whenever I want to have my little moments where I burn my incense and have my little wine and smoke a weed, I will put on some, Angie Stone. I put me on some D'Angelo. I put me on some of that old smooth, laid back hip hop, soul, even some jazz music, what that whole vibe and stuff that's up in there. So yeah, she is someone who is very iconic in the music business, and she'll definitely be missed. And shout out to MTV, who played a lot of that music and really pushed a lot of those artists out there. So hopefully down the road at one of the award shows, especially like the BET Awards, because that should be coming up in a couple of months, that they'll pay homage to her in some sort of way and tribute to like her music and what she's contributed to the music business. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding us losing a legend within the music industry, the one and only Angie Stone? I definitely want to hear from y'all. What were y'all favorite songs of this, that, and the other? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Of course, I knew somebody was going to bring that up. How does it feel? Yeah, we know he was iconic for that video. That body was bodying. We haven't heard from D'Angelo in a minute. Remember Jaheim? Whatever happened to him? I think he kind of went nuts too. But yeah, there's a lot of great music that came out back in the day. So, and I do love that "How Does It Feel" video. All right, now. Okay, y'all. So now let's go from one death to another. So not only did we lose Angie Stone, but we lost somebody in the porn world. Speaking of which, a friend of mine, hold on, now I got to look it up, because my friend Alex Tikis, who I interviewed, and he mentioned somebody. Hold on, let me go to his Facebook. He said another porn star died too, and now I got to look it up before we get to this Tim Kruger story. So he said Tim Kruger and now Roman Mercury, WTF is going on. So now they talk about that Roman Mercury passed away. I'm like, Jesus, what is going on with all the adult cinematographers? That we losing a lot of our porn stars. And they talking about that 5 act. Oh, so yeah, there was and I just saw a recent picture because I almost forgot what he looked. I said, yeah, Roman Mercury, he died at the age of 45. I'm like, what is going on? But I have to look further into that story. But nevertheless, let's get into this whole Tim Kruger story. So yeah, I actually, one of my friends who, he did adult stuff, but he doesn't do it anymore. Little Wolf, who he did a video with Maverick Men way back in the day, he hit me up and he tagged me on social media. He was like, tell me this isn't true in regards of Tim Kruger passed away. And first of all, when he tagged me in it, I did not hear anything. But I will say this, literally, I kid you not, 24 hours earlier, my friend Ray Diesel, who does, he's another adult performer, he had posted something on his social media in regards of like how he was celebrating his 10th anniversary in the business and how Tim Kruger was the one to give him a shot in the industry. Like he was the first one to kind of come aboard and give him like a shot for him to make his debut, and was giving him his flowers and everything. And I was living for the fact that I was like, look at you celebrating your anniversary and basically coming out and saying like, yeah, if it wasn't for Tim Kruger, I wouldn't be where I am today. Cut to literally 24 hours later, we find out Tim is dead. And then people were sitting up in here saying, well, maybe he knew something about it, which he didn't. And then I seen some people on social media with their conspiracy theories and all this other stuff, which was annoying me. I was like, can't we just give our condolences? Can we just say thoughts and prayers or whatever the case is and not be up on social media saying, well, he was murdered by doing content or whatever, or whatever dumb conspiracy. If you weren't there, shut the fuck up. That's all I got to say about people. Let's just wait and see if we get any news about what he may have passed away from. They said it was an accident at his house. We don't know what the details are. So let's just take things for what they are, and everybody stop trying to act like y'all some goddamn Inspector Gadget on social media because y'all want clicks and likes on your tired ass page. But now that I got that out the way, let's get into the tribute to Tim Kruger. So Tim, a gay adult film star, pioneer, and entrepreneur legally named Marcel Bond, has reportedly passed away from a tragic yet simple accident at home. He was 44 years old. Now, Kruger was born on January 25th, so he just had a birthday. 1981 in Dusseldorf, Germany. The actor, producer, and director appeared in his first film back in 2006, first appearing in scenes at studios like Titan Men, and eventually starring in over 350 videos at TimTales after launching the site in 2009 with the help of his longtime partner, Groves Garrett. I hope that I said his name right. If I didn't, I apologize. The redhead, who stood about 6 feet tall with a hairy chest, big dick, by the way, originally trained in business administration before traveling to Berlin and discovering his future in the sex industry while working in a porn store. Shout out to the Germans, because y'all really, if anybody want to know about freaks, shout out to the Germans. Now, in an interview, he once said, it's a great gift to have a cock like this. Look, that's what he said. I didn't say it. But you also have to know how to use it. Absolutely. And I say that all the time. And sometimes you can't help but think it's the only reason people want to sleep with you, which can be kind of depressing if you don't have a healthy self-image. And I love that, because I always say that. It's like, yeah, a lot of people got a big old dick and don't know how to fuck. And the worst part of it is that people just don't take the time of like thinking in a way of like Tim did, which I totally agree with. But maybe that comes with age and experience, where it's like, yeah, when you have a great gift, when you have a big penis, you have to know how to use it, satisfy your partner or whatever the case is. And if that, and if there are going to be some people out there that look at you as literally nothing more than just something to stretch their sugar walls out with your big old joystick. But if you have a strong sense of self, you don't let all that vapidness from other people get to you. So it was good that, according to what he said, he has a healthy self-image. Now, there was a statement that was released, I believe, by his partner, that was posted on the TimTales blog on March 1st. So I have that. And he basically said, it is with the heaviest of hearts that I have to share the news of the passing of our beloved Marcel, the man you all know and love as Tim Kruger. To the public, he was the ultimate gender porn star. To me, he was a sweet, caring partner of over 20 years. He was also my best friend. He touched the lives of everyone who had the privilege of knowing him. I am very aware of the stigma that surrounds deaths in the corn industry. So let me make this very clear to hopefully cut down the inevitable speculation. Tim's death was a tragic and simple accident at home. There were no drugs involved, nor was there any indication of foul play or suicide. Though my heart is broken into pieces, I find solace in the countless memories he gifted us, and I know that he died knowing he was loved. Tim's legacy of compassion, love, and joy will live on in all who knew him. I am aware that you all will have countless questions, but this is all the information I have to share right now. I would love for everyone to respect his loved one's time to grieve in privacy. Thank you. So that's what I was asking before I read this post, is that, yeah, give the people a time to just deal with this situation, work on the funeral arrangements, whatever his wishes were in regards of that. Let them work out what they need to work out. Let them grieve in private. And then when they're ready to share what happened with Tim, I'm sure you all will find out. So that wasn't the only thing. So yeah, after all this story came out, you know, some of the people that he's collaborated with throughout the many years he's been making film took to social media and to share their condolences. So Raheem Shabazz, this is what I saw when he posted this. Says sad day RIP to the legend. Then we have Jacob Kelly Bass said, "Oh my, may his legend live on." Then we have and then I saw also I saw a couple of people on Facebook that posted. I actually had to hit up. I forgot to mention this too. So after I found out about the whole Tim Kruger thing, I did hit up my friend Ray Diesel and I asked him that was this true, or whatever. And yeah, he was telling me that he was gutted, he was heartbroken, and all this other stuff that was going on. So I know he was dealing with a lot of the stuff. But then we had a private talk, and he was saying like, yeah, he was getting pissed off because a lot of people were sharing things or coming up with their stupid conspiracy theories. And I was agreeing. I'm like, this is some BS. Like, stop trying to act like y'all Inspector Gadget and just if you hear somebody passed away, send your condolences, show your respects, keep it moving. Any extra shit, keep that to yourself. Everything don't need to be broadcast on social media for y'all to be posting up in here for a click and a like and some damn attention. Just try to be human for a minute and just send your condolences and stop with, oh, he probably was doing meth, or he probably was doing this, he probably was doing that, or was some idiot went and posted in my comments that he stuck his dick in a damn wood chipper. I'm like, would you just like go drown yourself in a bathtub or something? Because you sound dumb. So then we have this one from Sir Peter. An incredible man left us today, deeply sad and heartbroken by this news. Apart from the legend, he was incredibly sweet and caring human. I've always heard nothing but great things about him. I never got to meet him, but yeah, everybody that's mentioned him. He's always saying he was a nice, he's a nice person. Which I don't know. Is that Portuguese? Because I don't understand her. So we're just gonna leave that there. Y'all can translate it. Oh, Rafael Ferreira. Shout out to him. I always like me some Rafael Ferreira. Speaking of people I love me some Sherrod. How you doing? So he said, RIP to a legend, heartbreak emoji. Now, Twunk, well, Jake Matthews said, this man was a pinnacle and an inspiration within the porn industry, and I had the pleasure to work with him and see just how kind and welcoming and beautiful he was. It's devastating to see that he's gone, but his memory will live on, and he will always be remembered as one of the best performers out there and will always inspire me and many others. I truly hope those closest to him are well. So then we got Swirly's World, say RIP. Then we have Matthew Ellis, rest in peace. I'm devastated to hear such horrible news, and my heart goes out to your family and friends. Okay, Chess, you better work out that upper body. Then we got GOP Los, who says, sad to hear about the passing of Marcel. He was a great guy before anything else, and the one who introduced me to the industry. So he was helping people out. And then we have Jonathan Miranda saying, today I say goodbye to Tim, who was my boss and great inspiration these past 2 years. I'm immensely grateful for everything I learned from him and the incredible moments we shared. His departure will be missed and his talent and legacy will live on. And that was translated by Google from Portuguese. So shout out to all the Brazilians. You know what? Now, in addition to the Germans, child, have y'all ever slept with a Brazilian? Let me tell you, that's some good at. Let me just keep it as let's keep it professional. I'm not going to spill my dirt while I'm trying to pay homage to Tim Kruger. Anyway, so he said, I still can't believe this happened. Tim was one of my best friends, which is very difficult in this industry. Long before I started as a corn actor, he already advised me and helped me several times. I wish we had more time watching reality shows, doing nothing but being lazy as usual. You will be missed, my friend, greatly missed. I don't usually talk about my personal life here, but I owed it to him, an incredible person with a huge heart. Rest in peace, Tim. We will miss you. I will miss you. So his he's definitely been, missed and loved and supported by a lot of people in the industry. I could go on and on and on. I did like countless, um, you know, sending out posts and stuff for people who love them some Tim Kruger. And we even had Austin Wild jump up in here and say his RIP. So yeah, there's a bunch. I can go on and on and on, but we'll be here forever. But I say all this to say, you know what, Tim definitely. I love me some TimTales. I liked a lot of the stuff they was doing over there. Well, a lot of his production. I was like, that was some real quality stuff that he was doing, and the models was always hot. And just seeing the fact that these people, in regards of like just the whole TimTales brand, it was just about celebrating sex and just not being unapologetic about it, and just the shots and everything that was up in there, it was just iconic. So Tim will definitely be missed. I had a friend of mine say, "Now, what else am I gonna beat off to?" I'm like, he got plenty of a library of stuff. You still can beat off to the TimTales stuff, and they can still keep the brand going. So you ain't gotta stop, clapping your hand up against your meat popsicle. You can still keep it going. So I say all this to say, because ain't one monkey gonna stop this show. Now, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding this sudden, sad passing of a pioneer within the homosexual adult performance industry? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Oh, damn. I was like, I thought I took it out. All right. So now we got some comments. Let's get to those. Mm-hmm. Felix says, my favorite song from her is I Wish I Didn't Miss You. I do love that song too. She was in her late 30s. Exactly. So that's why I always tell people, don't sit up in here and listen to these people that be up in here talking about, oh, well, your time has passed, that your career is not going to take off. You're not going to be able to have a career. I'm like, as long as you got breath in your body, as long as you got a talent and you able to pull that shit off, don't listen to these morons and thinking like, oh, well, my time has passed and I can't because I'm not 20 or 25. If you got the wherewithal, if you got the talent, you got the life experience, if you have the wherewithal to meet up with some producers, some songwriters, and put something together and put your image together, fuck a label. These days, you don't even need them. There's social media. And if you got a team of people that can help you push you in that direction, that's all you need. So, and look, even with after post 30s or whatever, Angie still had a career. Yeah, she wasn't doing what she was doing, but she had enough of a library of music that she can go around and perform them songs with a full-on band and strong-ass vocals. So it's that only the record labels care about how old the music artist is. The rest of it, exactly. And that's like, I love music. I love talent. If you got a good song, I don't care if you 85 and you decide to come out with an album tomorrow. If you got a bop on your hands, I'm gonna listen to it and I'm gonna live. So I don't care what these tight ass people that have run these labels got to say. And 9 times out of 10, these people that's run these labels is older than Methuselah. So I'm not even listening to them. Exactly. R.I.P. to this legend. He was a very sexy and talented performer. Mm-hmm. Child, did you see that tweet? Oh, Alejo Ospina tweeted about Tim. What did he say? I wonder if I don't think I got that one. I'm like, yeah, what that old hoe said. And I usually like his stuff, but if this bitch want me to block her on social media and unfollow her, I'll do it. I said, do wonder what happened to him though. I shouldn't mind it. We all look in the back of my mind, trust and believe, I want to know what happened with Tim Kruger, but I'm gonna just wait and be like, if they want us to know, they'll tell us. But I'm gonna mind my business for now. Did you hear Melania trying to make posting other people's adults? Why? Because hers got posted without her consent? Is that why? Like, girl, we know you was you was out here doing adult stuff before you became a mail order whore. So what you trying to run from? You can't run from your past, daughter. Walmart and Target. It cost a combined 100 million. Or it lost. Well, good for them. Funnily enough, when my mother called me to ask me like how was I doing because I'm under the weather, she was like my uncle was at Walmart buying sausages because he don't like the round sausages whatever. So I said, y'all up in Walmart after what they denied the DEIs and all that other stuff. But look, because he visited from California. But good for him. Treasure Island one with well, you know what? I love Treasure Island Media. And remember at one point when you had Michael Lucas shady ass thumbing his nose up at bareback porn and look all he does now. Well, do people even actually still watch his stuff? But then all of a sudden now he's all for it. I'm like, but you was the one that was up here thumbing your nose, acting like your shit didn't stink about the whole barebacking thing. But once they started realizing where the tide was turning, because everybody was getting into it, and that's what the public demanded. And me personally, that's all I like. I do not what's like condoms. That's like not in no movies. So yeah. They definitely were out here pioneering. Loved his site. Tim Kruger was always. That was another thing I loved about him too. Was that he was very diverse. He put everybody. Like I said, my friend Ray Diesel got his start doing with TimTales. It is. Are you saying it's already a felony in Florida? Well, don't they live in Florida? Isn't that where Mar-a-Lago is? Well, she can keep her ass there. Yeah, everybody's speculating. That's the annoying thing too. Not Michael Lucas busted ass. Oh, did he? Because he needs some money, right? Oh, have y'all seen my many videos I've done about Michael Lucas? I don't particularly care for her, but anyway, um, I can see why he had the bottom because ain't nobody buying his stuff. But at this point, it says it's you 20 years too late on that. I will say I did like his videos back in the day. He's just not a nice person. Um, it's Chad. You probably gonna have to search through the archives of my YouTube channel because it's up there. It's in the midst of the many videos that I've done. I think I did like maybe a year or two ago where I've done some videos where I think there was one I did about there was a performer that was with I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. There was a performer that did a video with him and said that he was shooting something up in his peen and all kinds of other stuff. Jordy something, not Jordy Shore. It's Jordy. Damn, I can't remember his name. I know his name is Jordy. That video's up there. That got a shit ton of views. Then there was another video that he did where he wrote his name on a missile, which was very much going against Palestine and all that other stuff. So there's a video about that too, where he was very much being a Zionist and went and posted something where he signed his name on a missile to blow up the Palestinians. So there's that video. But I think I did that about a year or two ago. So yeah, it's on the YouTube as separate videos. I was like, Jesus Christ, why am I getting so many messages today? I'm like, oh, I just saw Still a Mermaid sent me a text. Oh, he said, Alejo Ospina said, R.I.P. Tim. No one ever gave me a fissure so big that I had to stop fucking for girl. Why are you putting this in your post? I think maybe he was trying to find a way of making it funny because he got fucked so damn rough that he's literally like, I can't have sex for 45 days because you literally wore my booty hole out. But it's like, child, that's in poor taste. Why would you post that? It's like some things you need to be kept to yourself. Or maybe that would have been something like, how like sometimes in life, some people are just like, oh, he would have got my sense of humor if I were alive. But, sir, we don't know y'all like that. So people are going to take that not in the same way that maybe Tim would have taken had you said that if he were alive. So, yeah, it's just like, just be aware of like some of the stuff you put up in there. But I know you were trying to say he fucked you so good. You had literally he had you walking side to side for 45 days and then you had to kind of you had to relax and not get hunched. That's kind of like, Fitness Poppy X, Porfy was talking about how, I wonder if he got surgery on his booty. Because I think he mention something or another that his booty hole, that I think it was like there was some damage done back there because of all the rough sex he was doing. That's another thing y'all gotta work. Y'all need to be typical course about, if you a power bottom and you make your coins with your back end, sometimes I gotta be careful with the way these people, and I know it looks good on camera to be getting, y'all holes slammed the way it is. But y'all gotta also think about the damage that caused, after a while. I was trying to find a way to clean that up, but it's impossible. So anyway, let's move on to our final topic. And let's get into this RuPaul's Drag Race recap. Um, so the last episode that we came in on was Acacia Forgot, basically landing in the bottom, and Corey King was in the bottom again. I believe wasn't it the second time that Corey King was in the bottom? So yeah, I think between the both of them, that was actually their second time. And then of course, Corey King sent Acacia home. So then we already talked about how Sam Star took the top prize of the week for her Cher-inspired Wicked Witch of the East performance. And the queens in this new challenge had to basically dust off the sewing machines and break out the hot glue guns for another fashion challenge. And based off of the iconic looks of an icon herself, Betsy Johnson. Now, before we get to the fashion challenge, let's get to the annual reading challenge, because reading is what? Fundamental. So the girls had to read each other, and I was like, well, all the shit y'all been talking on this damn show in the confessional, y'all better bring it with the read. And some of the girls, I was like, it was all right. Ariette, girl, it's funny, you got a whole lot to say about people, but girl, your reads was not that great. So, but before we get to the reads, once they got to the table, Anya basically asked which one of the non-winners was going to win this week. And so then Rue comes in, hello, 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 basically telling them the mini challenge. And then basically said, as I said, the library is open. And when they put the glasses on, you know who I immediately thought of? Remember Hollywood for Mannequin? That's what the shades was given. So they said that the shades were Party City reading glasses. I'm like, that is Hollywood from Mannequin, which I love that movie, by the way. And I'm a big, lover of cheesy 80s campy movies. So I knew immediately when I saw those glasses, I was like, yeah, it's very much Hollywood, played by Meshach Taylor. I think he passed away, right? May he rest in peace. Those are the glasses he wore in the movie. So then, some of the girls came for their sisters, and there was some laughs that came out, but I'm trying to remember. Then there was some crickets, of course, we had from some of the winners. I mean, some of the people. But the funniest one that I thought, first of all, I did like Lexi. Lexi was kind of funny in some ways. But yeah, Susie too. I was like, give it to her because her reads, I love a strategic queen, which is like, y'all know they're going to set it up for the punchline. And she definitely delivered on that. So I was living for it. So now, once they get to the Maxi Challenge, now they have to pay tribute to 60 years of Betsy Johnson's iconic designs, which, sidebar, I gagged because I had no idea. Now, this was what gooped me. I had no idea she was the very first designer to include trans women into her shows. Because I remember, you see Marco and so many others who incorporate trans women or include trans women into their runway shows. I never knew that Betsy was the first. And I've always lived for Betsy's stuff because she's very much New York. She's very much like West 8th Street, New York West Village vibe. Like she definitely gives that. And she's a New Jersey girl. She's a Jersey girl, as we say. I didn't say New Jersey, but Jersey girl. So they had to make outfits from 3 of her most famous collections. So now Susie, as she won the challenge, so she got to pick her category first. Now each category gets 3 queens. So Lydia picks Lexi to go first, which gags Corey. And I was shocked with that. So I was like, yeah, you didn't pick your caca girlfriend. That, how you go and just not pick Corey? But then again, I'm just like, yeah, just because we hunching, sis, this still a competition. So it's like, I know that you was expecting that kind of favoritism. It's the same thing that happened with Jules Sparkle. She ain't pick Ariette. And I thought, oh, that's shady. That's supposed to be your girl. You ain't pick Ariette, even when she got picked, which I thought was interesting. But Ariette, girl, first of all, she's a fashion girl. It don't matter where she would have placed in this situation. We already knew. Well, I knew. I'll say that she was going to come with something fierce in regards to the fashions anyway. So Ariette, she already had a design challenge win, so she's feeling confident about whatever she's going to work on. So that's why I was just like, I wasn't feeling no ways tired about Ariette or Ariette, however you say her name. But I call it Ariette. Let's call the whole thing on tomato. They work, so they have the trios. Lexi's basically struggling. She starts crying, and then Sam comes over and basically helps her try to get out of her own head, which I thought was cute and everything. The fact that they were coming in, she said, "I miss my calling as a coach because the way I be talking these bitches off the ledge in so many damn ways." And I'm like, "Yes, I live for it." But you know how them Southern girls are. It's like the way that they talk. It's like a read. Was another one I thought was pretty strong with their reads too. I like Sam, but it was like, yeah, definitely going back to the reading challenge. It was like, yeah, Susie basically was good in that. So now, because I know like Lexi's like, I'm a fashion girl, whatever, but I have yet to impress the judge because yeah, the tarp situation that happened, I was not feeling that outfit. And I will say this I was so glad this was the third fashion challenge, but this was the first challenge that Anya didn't get into it with another queen, because the first fashion challenge she got into it with Jules with the stuff that she took from her, and apparently she was feeling the ways about that. Then her and Lexi got into it because she got paint on her damn tarp dress that she was going to be using, and so I'm glad this time she was caught up in her own situation. But we're about to get in her look soon. So hold on for that. Buckle up, Buttercup. So then, while the girls are putting their clothes together and figuring things out and having their little breakdowns or whatever the case is, Mama Rue makes her way back into the workroom and says, "I have a guest, or we have company." And then Betsy Johnson comes into the room and helps the girls out and basically gives them ideas for their designs. So the girls come over to the table. I cannot believe Betsy is in her 80s and looks as fabulous as she does. And you want to know what I was living for too? The fact that I know I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but when she came out on the stage and she did a split, I'm like, yes, because back in the day she used to do like cartwheels and all kinds of other stuff. But her still being able to do a split at her age, this is why I always say age ain't nothing but a damn number. This lady is an octogenarian and still out here bouncing around like a hyperactive bunny rabbit. Still got the energy of a teenager. So yeah, so Betsy comes into the room and basically gives them tips and guidances with their designs. So then they talk to Betsy about their collection trios, and they get to see how each of them plan to basically incorporate their aesthetic into their own design. Because it's easy when you can just go in and just make something and carbon copy it from her collection or whatever the case is, like 90s prom or 80s prom or the wedding looks and all that other stuff. So it's easy to kind of go in and do that, but it's like, no, how do you interpret it and put your own style and fashion into that? Which is what we want to see in a designer challenge. And look, I've been saying this for the longest. I don't care if y'all don't know how to sew, whatever the case is. The show been on for 17 damn years. Well, 16 years, 17 seasons. Y'all need to know how to actually put a little something together. So the fact that y'all still up in here bitching and moaning about, oh, I don't know how to sew, whatever. And I love the fact that Betsy came in and was like, it doesn't matter. As long as it looks good or whatever, you could do whatever you want. You could use a hot glue gun. You could use a stapler. You could use whatever the case is. As long as you put the thing together and you don't see the imperfections in the dress and the design, who cares how you put it together? So even if you don't know how to sew, at least master the art of how to use a hot glue gun, which clearly when we saw Corey's dress, she ain't even mastered the art of the hot glue gun, or maybe that glue wasn't hot enough to hold up that hemline, that horrible hemline that she had in her pink dress, which she kept going back and forth on giving us something different. She's been given the same silhouette, short skirt, having a big ass and everything, instead of giving a gown. She should have mixed it up at that point. But we'll get into that in a second, the overall look. Because Corey kept changing her mind a couple of times. Because while she said she was going to go and do a short dress, which I thought was kind of cute in design, then the thing they kind of talked her out of it. She said she was going to do a long gown. Then she changed her mind again and was like, you know what? I'm just going to go and do it short. I'm like, I said, Molly, you in danger, girl. The minute she said that, I was like, you are setting yourself up to failure. And when we saw that dress, I was right. So now after Betsy and Rue leave the Queens, Corey decided, as I said, to switch up her dress as the Rue called the original designer for being too similar to her yellow dress. So Sam helps out a few of the other queens, including Lydia, who creates based on feeling. So she has no real idea what she's making. Now, Anya is going big with her bow embellishments, but she keeps burning herself with a hot glue gun as she's trying to glue into the dress. Now, here's the thing: what I had about Anya's dress, I was like, "Girl, why didn't you do on the boobs? You had the big bow. Then you do like as you're going down, the bows get smaller. They looked like they were all the same size, which took away from the overall design. It was like a tube dress. She was doing the bows. The bows would have been cute, or you would have been safe, in my opinion. Not in the bottom three. You would have been safe if you would have did a better placement with the bows. Also, the same fabric that you use for the bows on that tail in the back, I thought that was terrible too. It was just too much going on. The dress, it had a lot going on. I didn't like it. But then Jules, with her outfit, I think she sewed the fabric where she said it was upside down. So it literally looked like a two-tone look. It looked a mess. But you want to know something? She saved it because she put the fur and all the other stuff on, and it definitely look good compared to Lydia Butthole. I think we're trying to do this a similar aesthetic with the way the dress looked, like very much flapper back in the 20s and 30s, that whole vibe. But her dress was a mess. It wasn't as effective, in my opinion, as Jules' look. I just thought Jules was able to pull it off. So now now we're gonna transform over to Elimination Day, and Arietta is basically feeling great about her look. Then Lexi is also feeling optimistic about her bridal look. Lana's excited that she finally gets to go to prom because, this gagged me. I forget how young some of these girls are. She said that she didn't get to go to her prom because it was because of COVID. So once COVID and everything was going on, a lot of people unfortunately did not have their graduation. So I think that maybe this was something that um that Lana revealed in her when putting her package and everything together to come on the show. And this might have been an idea that they incorporated via production. So then that's a story that she could have told with people, or unless it was a happy accident. But I think this is all because it could have been in the package where he was like, oh, I never got to experience my prom and blah, 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 and all that stuff. And they took that idea and was like, let's just incorporate it into the episode. So now Lexi and Sam basically shared a moment by the mirrors where Sam tells how proud she is that she was able to turn out such a fierce look after her freak out, which I will agree. I loved Lexi's look. I just thought it was like one of the fiercest looks in that, but we'll get to the looks in a second. And Sam basically did her daily lovebird check in on Lydia and Corey while they put the finishing touches on their makeup and outfits. So yeah, they were really emphasizing on the whole the whole relationship between Corey and Lydia. It was kind of irritating me a little bit, but I was like, okay, I'll just go along with it for the show's purposes. So now we get down to the runway, where we still are questioning who is deciding Rue's runway looks. They've been a mess. I have not been feeling a lot of what Rue's been wearing lately. Those wigs look about as dry as Corey King's. Maybe they use the same wigologist. I don't know where these dresses become. I don't know if all the budget for the show was spent on that badunkadunk tank, but whoever is working in the hair and wardrobe department, Rue, it's time to switch it up. You need a better designer because these outfits this season have been a choice. So now on the main stage, Rue introduces this week's panel of judges, which is Michelle, Carson, and this week's extra special guest designer. Damn, I can't even talk. So we have Betsy Johnson as the special guest designer. So the queens basically strutted down the runway. And the first group is Punk Grunge Flappers, which was Jules, Susie, and Lydia. And based off of that look, I love Jules' look, which is here. I love this look. I definitely love Lexi's look. Ariette definitely did a great job. This look was a hot ass mess. You could literally see right here the hemline is just a mess, and she thinks serving body is enough. It's like, sis, serving body is not enough. And it was a good thing she changed them ugly ass shoes into these ugly shoes, but the dress was a mess, and the wig was a choice. Then they had the pink bow, and you want to know something? It was overall a mess. I thought Susie's look was okay. Anya, yeah, I agree. It's like it was just too much going on. The bow here was cute. This should have been a lot smaller, and this should have been like really tiny if he was gonna put it here because it just like doesn't accentuate her figure. And Anya is very good at like the figure and the padding and all the other stuff. Butthole was not. I was not feeling this look. It was ill proportioned. The funny enough, when I was looking at, I just feel like this is an excuse now for RuPaul to just say butthole because Lydia B. Collins butthole. So it's like this is just your excuse to say it consistently. I feel like if there was an actual drinking game, and I don't know if people are doing it, but if it is, definitely let me know in the comments. If there's people out there that's actually doing a drinking game, every time RuPaul says butthole, you take a shot, we'd all have to go to rehab. So, but yeah, Lydia's gown, I don't know. It was like I said, it looked like it was like a take on the whole flapper era. It just didn't work. I just feel like when she was trying to, I guess, be similar to, um, oh my God, why am I freezing on her freaking name? I think she was going similar with this look, but this look was just not because I know y'all can see the arrow in the camera. So she was trying to go similar with this look, but except this look pulled it off way better. And then of course we have Sam at the bottom. I don't know, it was giving me Madonna era 80s tees, kind of like with the shades and the big hair and the tulle dress. So I actually like that look. As well, Jewel Sparkles. I don't know why now all of a sudden it comes to me. So yeah, it was like she was trying to emulate a similar look to what Jules had, but it just did not. It wasn't. Jules did a better job executing her flapper era look than Lydia Boho Collins. So then Jules, Susie, and Lydia all strut in their slinky dresses, mismatched fabrics, and fringe. Then we had Corey, Anya, and Lana in their whole pink prom dresses. And then we had Sam, Lexi, and Ariete bringing Moody Bridal to the runway with the prenup collection. And Betsy closed the runway with her iconic split, which we were living for. So now, after the fashion show, Ru asked Susie, Lana, and Sam forward and tell them they're all safe. Now, critiques begin with Jules, and Michelle tells her she represents the collection beautifully, and the execution on her look was fantastic. Betsy tells her the look is the collection. Next, Michelle tells Lydia there's an idea with her look, but it's not quite finished, and the fit isn't great, so it takes away from the look. Carson tells Corey she needs more. She needed a more is more approach, and Michelle tells her that the finishing touches on her dress is a mess. Now, Michelle also doesn't love the construction of Anya's prom dress, and the other judges echo. Carson and Michelle both say Ariete's prenup wedding look is exquisite, and Betty calls it couture, and she definitely was giving couture. Now, Carson and Betsy both love Lexi's cute meets sexy bridal look, which Michelle and Ru also give top toots to. Now, here's the thing. Is it me? Or do we all miss the old Michelle Visage? Like, I need Michelle, the old one that used to throw shade during season 7. I need Michelle that actually, and I don't want her to have to make people cry, but I need her to come back. Like, remember the All-Star season where it was like, oh my God, why can't I remember this chick's name? And I see her in my head. Adore Delano. Remember when she quit? Because it was like, well, I thought you were going to be like my mother and all this other stuff. And I thought you were a little too harsh on me or whatever. Like, I need old harsh Michelle back. Maybe that energy left when she took them titties out. But for the most part, I miss old Michelle Visage. Like, if you're not going to come up, I'm not saying be crude for crude's sake, but give these girls constructive criticism. I just feel like that her and Ru are kind of phoning it in. Ru been phoning it in for years. I feel like, maybe Michelle's trying to go for this mother hen approach, but I do feel like if y'all not going to take that, if y'all don't want to step y'all pussies up to that mantle and deliver stuff that we want in the fandom, then bring people on that will. So let T.S. Madison come in and do it. She don't care. Let Laura Roach come in every time y'all do a fashion challenge. Have him sit up there and let him be more approachable in that situation. So if y'all don't want to do it, bring new people in that are going to that are willing to kind of give us that energy, step their pussies up in that way, and give the entertainment that we need. I'm not saying that they got to be just mean for the sake of mean sake. Like, we don't need all of that. There was enough reality shows that did that back in the day. But I would like to see somebody kind of really go in and really critique these girls and not be worrying. I don't know if they're worrying about the fandom on social media or whatever the case is, but I just don't feel like y'all are as engaged like y'all used to. I feel like y'all tired. Y'all exhausted. Y'all over Drag Race. You're not inspired. There's no energy there or no excitement. I don't know. I don't know if it's just me. If y'all feel the same way, definitely let me know in the comments. So now, following deliberations, Rue announced that Jewel Sparkles won the challenge, which I was happy for. Lex and Arietti basically were behind her in second and third place. Also, queens that were safe was Anya Nerve, which, here's the thing. I love Anya, but to me, I really think that it should have been Anya against Corey. I don't feel like Lydia's outfit was as bad as Corey's. I feel like that it should have been Anya, but I understand production, rigor. It's way more entertaining to have when you find out that two people on the show are a couple or became like a caca relationship. For the reality TV concept of it all in competition, you need to produce. The producers got to produce. So let's have Lydia Bajo Collins go up against her significant other on the show, the person she has a showmance with, and see which queen may the best woman win, or may the best drag queen win, as RuPaul says now. So basically, as I said, Lydia Bajo was in the bottom. And they lip synced to Kiss Me Deadly by Lita Ford, which was an okay performance. And then, of course, we all gagged when it got to this point where Lydia and Corey started making out on stage. And I was like, look, first of all, if y'all thought that, like, let's bring this in, that this was going to be a double Shantae, I'd have been pissed because I ain't no way in hell that was worth a double Shantae. And after the lip sync finished and they were done making out, Mama Ruth basically saved Butthole from elimination and basically said it was Corey's time to sashay away, which it kind of makes me wonder how many people were actually roaring in with thunderous applause once Corey was eliminated from the show. I just know, like, people found her so polarizing on this damn show. But I will say this, Corey was thoroughly entertaining. So whether you love her or you hate her, she's very entertaining, way more entertaining than her drag mother Plain Jane. So she was really delivering. She was doing what needed to be done in regards to the show, and she makes good TV now. As far as like what will happen post Drag Race with her career, doing a lot of the shows and stuff, that is TBD. But for the most part, she did what she needed to do to solidify herself, to cement herself in our reality TV competition zeitgeist. So now when next week's episode comes up, they basically will have, it's now the top 8, which I thought this would have been the time for them to do Snatch Game during the top 8. But they're doing something called the Villain Roast with some of the show's most iconic queens that we love to hate. So that should be a good one. Isn't Candy Muse one of the girls? I don't remember who the other two were, but all I remember is I saw Candy Muse up there, and I said, I wonder if they came up with this because Candy Muse did House of Villains. So that was probably all around the time that they were filming it, and then it just made it a part of the competition. So yeah, that's my update on my little, on Drag Race season 17, episode 9, Heavens to Betsy. So I want to hear from you guys. What did you think of the latest episode of Drag Race? How did you feel about the fashions? Which were your favorites? Which were your least favorites? Did they pick the right two to be in the bottom? Do you think that it should have been Corey versus Anya? Or do you think that Corey and Butthole were the perfect ones to be in the bottom? Because, for TV purposes, that's what it was good for because, shows got to produce and they got to do their thing. So they had her in there. It is what it is. And so I definitely want to hear from you. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Excuse me. Okay, so now we have well, look, and according to One of the ex CEO of Bad Boy, Diddy like putting things in his butt, so maybe he does. Can you imagine? I don't even want to think about the fissures or whatever, because you'd have to get surgery on those. Think about the health concerns. Okay, I don't get know them bowls were horrible. Yes, they were. Like you said, and Corey looked like whip. Well, I did say like yeah. When you look at Corey definitely gives you man in a dress, which they said on Two on Food. You're not a drag queen. You're just nothing but a boy in a dress. A meme account I follow posted a video today of James Charles and Manny Mua walking the Marco, I love you, but are you running out of people to put on your runway? And I told her that time I hung out at Willem's studio. Marco's studio is literally like 2 doors down, and across the street is World of Wonder. And I remember like Marco and his team walked past Willem's studio. We was all up in there doing a shoot, and they was waving high. We waved high and kept it moving. That's my only memory of Marco. A childhood favorite from us 90s kids. The kids born in the 80s but grew up in the 90s. My favorite monster is coming back. But who's that? I love this rude look. It looked like lingerie. Oh yeah, that was a cute look. Although I was kind of looking, I was like, girl, your tongue is looking a little meaty. It's like, yeah, now I'm thinking about it, I was like, yeah, that was cute. But yeah, the looks lately have been kind of, I just didn't like that wig though. And I don't know why she's doing this big Barbara Bush wig that she was doing a lot of lately. I just not have been featuring the wigs that she's been wearing. Jules looked me my Georgia. Yeah, I love Jules' look. So I was like, she definitely deserved to win. And it was funny because I felt like Jules' look and Butthole's look were trying to be similar with the whole flapper look. It wasn't executed better. I thought Jules executed the look better. Butthole looked like she had a bunch of damn dead cats hanging from her body. Kendrick's Meet the Gram surpassed Drake's Family Matters. Of course it did. It's like nobody's featuring Drake. Corey PMO this episode. What bugs me most is the shoulder straps, and she didn't even bother. I guess she thought she could lip sync her way. Yeah, and it's like you already lip synced twice, so third time wasn't the charm. All Stars 2 in the door. Exactly. Thank you. So it was All Stars 2, not 3. All Stars 3 was wait, what was All Stars 3? Wasn't that Trixie? Michelle phoned it in and let T.S. Madison do all the mean work. Yeah, she's been phoning it in lately. Ross Matthews had Selena S. titties going off. Oh, yeah, I remember that. But she called him the F word. That was funny. The 7 Democrats hold a press conference and just announced Elon Musk is getting sued and has a warrant for his arrest for stealing 25 Exactly. And Trump let his ass do it. Jay-Z sued 4 rap accuser and asking for her entire bank accounts and saying you have no choice but to reveal yourself. Jay-Z is so tired. Okay, so it was Candy, Mistress, and look, Plain Jane comes the week after her child gets eliminated. Ain't that the cackle? So it's like Candy, Mistress, and Plain Jane. I'm more excited for the roast and Snatch Game, the Rule School and the Ball. Snatch Game and the Rule School let me down and shit. You want to know something? I feel like that should be an annual thing too. We need more roasts on the show. First of all, I feel like my all-time favorite roast is the All Stars one. Well, first of all, the roast that Bianca Del Rio did, which she aced it, and then the other roast where it was the All Stars one. It was the All Winner season, and oh my god, Jinx Monsoon tore into their asses with them jokes. So that was like that's my favorite one. So we need more roasts on the show, and less of pheromones types that go. Every time they tell a horrible ass joke, I was like, "Girl, you okay? You have an orgasm over there?" So I'm looking forward to that one. Her drag is busted, but KK turned out to be a Kiki. Okay, yeah, her drag is busted. The runway show happened in 2018. It's an old video. It went viral back in the day. I remember watching Jack Berardieu talk about. Oh, so you're talking about? You talking about the Marco thing? Oh, well, I thought it was recent. I remember watching Jack Berardieu talk about Marco underwear, and I would be so jealous because I was too young to be wearing all that. Yeah, but he does make some good clothes, though. Pissed me off. Okay, because I was like, what's PMO? uh, I can't believe Betsy is 82. She's so energetic and added. Oh yeah, I like the Lady Bunny Rose too. And the fact that when you were seeing her trying not to laugh while she's supposed to be playing dead. Yeah, but you want to know something? You say that Corey would have been gone weeks ago, but the show would have been boring if she wasn't there. Now that we're down to the top 8, we're getting close to the finale, and we'll see how the other girls bring it in the future episodes. I'm not gonna be able to watch it this week. I'm gonna have to probably watch it when I get home or the next day because Dom Dalla has 2 shows on Friday and Saturday, and I'm working both. So I'm not gonna be able to watch the new episode of Drag Race until the weekend. So I'm gonna have to avoid all the spoilers, and I'm probably just gonna watch it when I get home. Because I ain't gonna be able to watch it, during the time that it comes on. All right, y'all. So we are officially at the end of today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And I will be back on a Wednesday. I'm not going to be on tomorrow because I'm actually going to be working. There's there's a Knicks game tomorrow. So I'm going to be working that. So I ain't going to be able to come in and do a later show or a show at all. So I'm going to be crazy busy tomorrow. But I'll be back on Wednesday. And so I think y'all just gonna get 3 shows this week. So yeah, it's gonna be a little crazy. So today, Thursday, and Wednesday. So yeah, love you all for watching. Definitely hit that like button, that subscribe button. Thank you all for tuning in and jumping into the live comments and all other stuff. As I say many a time, love you all for watching. And until next time, ciao, darlings.